Well, it's been asked for. I'm doing the 2016 election with ABC. And to give credit, this original compilation was made by Based Life Guru. So I'm piggybacking and I'm going to expand it with some fun commentary as Donald takes on the inevitable winner, Hillary Rodham Clinton, who's proven to be a rather sore loser.
And here we go. All coming down to this night and this choice in a history-making, rule-breaking, jaw-dropping campaign.
Can we trust her with our security? She is disqualified.
He just spends all of his time denigrating, criticizing America.
Tonight, voters get the last word in the election of a lifetime. Hillary Clinton seeking to break the ultimate glass ceiling.
When any barrier falls in America, it clears the way for everyone.
Donald Trump hoping to shatter expectations again.
They said Trump doesn't have a chance. We love defeating those people, don't we?
We're gonna win
Yes,
because
we
of you.
do.
I will totally accept the results if I win. Either we win this election or we lose the country.
Our future
Was
is at
accurate.
stake.
Americans now choosing whether to elect the first woman to lead the nation or one of only a handful of political outsiders to ever serve as commander-in-chief.
And there's never been a campaign like this. This could be, and there could be, new surprises in these final hours of this very long election.
The Clinton campaign is increasingly confident of reaching 270 electoral votes, even at this hour, as they don't know exactly how they will still get there. But I am here in the Javits Center. You can see behind me here, this is the stage where Secretary Clinton will give a speech, she believes, one way or the other tonight. At this hour, this is what the Clinton campaign believes the state of play is. They believe there is urgent concern in the state of North Carolina. I just talked to the campaign manager, and he told me that he believes this will be the tightest of all battleground states. So North Carolina, Ohio are their two trouble spots, but they are confident at this hour in Michigan. They believe that the visits there yesterday from the president and Secretary Clinton herself have turned around Michigan, and they are confident in Florida as well, Jake, because of that early vote. So it's at this hour they believe the math reaches 270, even if they're not exactly sure which states will fall.
Well, Jake, it's a much tougher map for Donald Trump, and sources are telling me that one key internal metric is showing Donald Trump falling short of the 270 electoral votes he's going to need. Now, in spite of this, plenty of people in Trump Tower are still feeling very optimistic going into tonight. They're looking at a number of states, both internally and publicly, where the polls are very close, and they believe those could break late in their favor, and ultimately Donald Trump could come to victory. But this key internal metric at this point does not spell a win. Now, as for Donald Trump himself, he has boldly been predicting victory on the campaign trail, essentially since he got into this race, insisting that they're winning all over the country. But privately, he's a little bit more of a worrier. He has been pressing his aides all day long for updates on what they can point to, what data sets they have to indicate where the race is headed. And a lot of this has been sort of an educational moment for Donald Trump's aides and Donald Trump.
One of the major storylines we've been following throughout this entire election.
An educational moment. He's got to learn, not you guys.
Election season is just how unpopular both of these candidates are.
This is truly a historic night for the American people. I think it's historic indeed for the world right now, irrespective of whether Hillary Clinton wins or Donald Trump wins. This is history.
Well, either we're going to have the first female president in the history of this country, and we should remember that only 100 years ago in this country, women didn't even have the right to vote nationwide. Or we will have the first person elected president, Donald Trump, who has never served in government or the military, the first one ever. So
not only is it the outsider versus first woman, the potential of that.
We have our first key race alert of the night.
Ooh, key race.
All right, these are the first results. Actual votes coming in very, very early in the state of Kentucky. You can see 1% of the vote is in. Donald Trump has almost 80% of the vote.
I think we can all agree Donald Trump is most likely to win the state of Kentucky and to win it quite handily. So
going into this night, where do we stand?
This is where we stood coming into the night. 268 to...
These are the predictions. And by the way, Hillary Clinton was like a 9-1 favorite on election day to win the presidency. So bear that in mind?
204. So clearly an advantage for Secretary Clinton. If the dark red states, reliably Republican, the shaded red states, leaning Republican. Again, in places like especially Ohio and Iowa, we're going to watch them all night long. The Clinton campaign thinks there could be a chance they're in play. But here's where we start the night. So if we're going to have an early night, if you will, meaning Clinton starts with an advantage, what would an early night look like? An early night would look like she starts to run it up, and we call that one. Now, I expect Florida to be competitive. That was the closest state in 2012 between Obama and Romney. That close. Florida's always a battleground.
If she wins Florida, what would Trump have to do to still win the presidency?
It's incredibly hard. Can he do it? Can he do it?
Whoever wins tonight, they're going to have a challenge bringing the country back together, getting a majority of Americans on their side.
That many voters are not happy with the choices there.
Boy, that is the understatement, considering the fact that they did everything they could to destroy the Trump presidency and to divide the nation. Yeah, that's actually rather prophetic.
A lot of people concerned and scared right now. Donald Trump has a significant lead. 1% of the vote is in. Once again, caution everybody very, very early in Indiana.
And this is what we're going to watch all night. This has become... Florida was the closest election in 2012. Demographically, North Carolina is probably the most closely contested battleground state. We expect Florida and North Carolina to be two of our most competitive states tonight. And
are those Latino votes surging? And also, are African-American votes going down, as a lot of Democrats feared after 2012 and 2008 with the first African-American presidents?
Like you said, the question is whether or not there is a Latino surge. And if that happens, if it turns out that perhaps Donald Trump sort of awoke a sleeping giant, that would be come full circle tonight. The end of the night, the end of the campaign versus the beginning.
Well, I think North Carolina is probably going to be one of the closer races we have. And
I can just tell you, it's been an agony seeing what's been happening in our politics over the last few years. It's gotten
just wait until 2024.
Very rough, very nasty.
We take for granted that less than 100 years ago, women could not vote. Women were not equals in this country in that aspect. And so, look, whether she wins or not tonight, the fact that Hillary Clinton is out there competing for the big title is, I think, very significant to a lot of people in America. Well, now we're worse than postmortem. We're dead even before the beginning. I can assure you that Donald Trump is going to get historic low numbers.
Woo! Good prediction. No wonder you're on The View. All the smart people go there.
Amongst Latinos, he's going to be probably in the teens. If he breaks 20, it's a good night for him with Latinos. And it would be sweet, sweet justice if after everything he has said, after every attack he has made against Latinos, after he has thrown out Latino anchors from press events, after he hasn't done any outreach, after he has questioned a judge's citizenship, after he has called Mexicans rapists, it would be sweet, sweet justice if tonight it was the Latino vote that defeated Donald Trump.
No sweet justice for you, dum-dum.
Así que, mi gente, levántense y voten.
Get up and vote. That's what she said. But they voted much more for Trump than you would have guessed.
Anna Navarro, you're not a Trump supporter.
No, I'm not. You know what I am? I'll tell you what I am. I am a college-educated Latina.
Do you want a pause? Is that why you paused so long after college educated in order for it to sink into everybody so that you can, with a college degree, attempt to obscure and obfuscate the stupidity that comes out of your mouth every single day on The View and also in 2016?
And sure as hell not a Trump supporter.
We're already seeing this obviously in the early voting in Florida, which is the percentage of Latino voters and the Latino voters who are embracing the Democratic Party, which in Florida has not been the history.
But if Hillary wins tonight, what you're going to see is the makings of a coalition, a national coalition that's going to dominate our politics for the foreseeable future. It is as strong a coalition as what Franklin Roosevelt put together back in the 1930s.
They are less confident, of course, of Georgia. It is one of those states that if she had been expanding the map at the end of this campaign, instead of explaining her FBI controversy and development, something they were thinking about going into. They believe
she destroyed emails on a private server that were illegal that they would have undoubtedly thrown Donald Trump in prison for. She wasn't even prosecuted. They had only the semblance of an investigation in order to clear her, in order not to appear too partisan.
Those 16 electoral votes are out of reach. They barely advertised there. They did not travel there at all. One senior Democratic advisor said, maybe next time Georgia will come into play, but not this time.
And we have our first projections of the night. Take a look at this. Donald Trump, we project, will win in Kentucky with its 8 electoral votes.
Yeah.
Donald Trump also wins in Indiana with its 11 electoral votes. We project that Hillary Clinton is the winner in Vermont. 3 electoral votes.
We have about 44%.
Can we just kick that Bernie state out of the country and give it to Canada in exchange for Alberta? I would willingly make that trade.
Of the vote in, and Donald Trump is ahead by a sizable margin. So if that holds up, either Donald Trump's going to be elected the next president or Vigo County's streak is going to end. We won't know that for hours. So strap in and we'll see. But they've been right in 15 straight presidential elections. They've been wrong only twice in the last 100 years in terms of picking the winner at 44%. That tells you something. This is a very unorthodox election, so I expect a lot of streaks might be broken tonight, no matter who wins. But Hillary Clinton, to win Florida, has to run it up. The Democrats were very happy about their early voting. Democrats were thrilled with early voting there. Talking to a friend who knows the organizers down here today, said the Democrats got some jitters today when they saw the long lines of Trump supporters. So we're going to play this out.
Right now, it's just changed. Trump's lead has gone up to 61,604 over Hillary Clinton.
Jake, a senior advisor from Donald Trump's inner circle, is sizing up the GOP candidates to me this way. His chances this way, quote, "It will take a miracle for us to win." That is the quote from a senior advisor inside.
Jim Acosta, one of the biggest Trump haters on the planet, tries to make his name by denigrating the president throughout his first term. A horrible human being that interviewed an avatar, computer-generated AI of somebody who was a kid who was shot in a high school. Not a good person.
Donald Trump's inner circle, this advisor went on to say that Trump was in such a deep hole after the release of that Access Hollywood tape. It was viewed inside the campaign that he was going to lose this race by a wide margin. But the fact that Donald Trump has been able to close that gap in the final weeks of this campaign, that is seen as a major accomplishment inside the campaign, one that might actually save the Senate for the Republican Party.
And Jeff, Clinton campaign feeling confident, but they are not counting their chickens.
They certainly aren't shaken. I am told by advisors on the ground there that they are seeing greater than expected turnout throughout there, and they attribute it to a rally that Secretary Clinton held after that second debate. At the same time, they are also concerned about a lower than expected turnout in Cleveland, despite all the star power she had, from LeBron James to Jay-Z to Beyonce. So they are watching the areas of Cleveland as well. And if they are to win in North Carolina, it will be because of a spike in turnout there. We saw Michelle Obama with Hillary Clinton on campus there. We saw President Obama going from campus to campus. That's what they are hoping for tonight, if they are to pull out a win in North Carolina.
All right, take a look. Hillary Clinton now takes the lead in the state of Florida. 30% of the vote is in, and she's got a significant 50,340 lead over Donald Trump. Remember, Florida. 29 electoral votes are at stake. All of a sudden, Hillary Clinton has a lead there. John, I want to talk about Florida. All of a sudden, a big chunk of votes came in, and she's doing well. Donald Trump is the winner in West Virginia. Take a look at this. 43% of the votes in Florida are now in, and all of a sudden, Donald Trump takes the lead. Almost 30,000 vote lead over Hillary Clinton. He's at 48.9%.
Don't call it a comeback. I've been here for years.
Donald Trump now takes a slight lead over Hillary Clinton.
I suspect this is going to go back and forth all night. If Donald Trump wins, if Hillary Clinton wins, it's going to be by a very small margin. That's how it happened in 2012 and 2008.
This year, both of these campaigns played so hard, spent so much money, the most money of any state, for lots of reasons, primarily because it is so big and it is so diverse geographically, and it's expensive when it comes to media markets. So it is by far the one that we are watching. And even Donald Trump has said very publicly that he doesn't think that there is a path for him to the White House without winning Florida.
We've talked about the fact that Donald Trump really needs to run the table when it comes to a whole bunch of these big, important battleground states. Hillary Clinton certainly needs a large chunk of them.
Just wait till 2024 and see what happens.
But Donald Trump needs to run the table. It's hard to imagine a path to the White House for Donald Trump without the state of Florida.
It's happening.
Not a strong showing of it, though, I have to say, from Democrats as of now. Rob?
More than half of the vote in Florida is now in 55%. Look at this. Donald Trump has a significant lead of 118,422 votes over Hillary Clinton. For North Carolina, 10% of the vote is now in. Trump has a lead. Look at Florida right now. 65% of the vote is in. And all of a sudden, Hillary Clinton has taken the lead in the state of Florida. She's got a a lead of 76,430 over Donald Trump. Hillary Clinton is now ahead of Donald Trump in Florida with its 29 electoral votes. In North Carolina, 13% of the vote is now in. Trump is ahead. In Virginia now, 14% of the vote is in. And Trump has a 73,000 plus vote lead over Hillary Clinton. Florida has been going back and forth, back and forth. All of a sudden, Hillary Clinton is ahead by what, a point and a half or so.
And we're up to 65% of the vote. So 2/3 of the vote in. The big question is,
guys, as you watch, just hit the thumb up on this channel. Just hit the thumb up for the algorithm. Let YouTube know that you like this type of content. That's all I ask.
quickly does the rest of it come in? You pull it out. I hate to say it, but this map is filling in a lot like 2012. Look at the map.
What are you hearing from the Clinton team?
Jake, the number is 29. That is one of the favorite numbers, the most important numbers inside that Clinton war room here at the Javits Center. And the Clinton campaign is increasingly confident about Florida, the numbers that are coming in and also what they've been seeing on the ground throughout the day. They believe that they're outperforming Obama numbers. Of course, he won the state narrowly. A reason that Hillary Clinton visited Broward County, a key Democratic area, 3 times in 1 week, was to drive up that Democratic vote. They believe they've done it. But one senior Clinton advisor I just talked to said the Hispanic numbers are rising through the roof. That's why we'll win Florida. Jake?
All right, we'll see what actually happens. Let's.
Hillary Clinton has now taken the lead in Florida and North Carolina. Let's take a look at Florida first. 72% of the vote in. That's a big chunk of the vote. Hillary Clinton is now ahead by an impressive almost 172,000 votes over Donald Trump. Look at this. In North Carolina, 28% of the vote is in. She is ahead by 21, almost 22,000 votes over Donald Trump right now.
Does Donald Trump have a path, a comeback path to 270 electoral votes? Florida and North Carolina factor huge.
Does he ever?
It's hard to. It's almost impossible to get in there without Florida. Not to sound like repetitive, but this looks a lot like the 2012 map so far. And Hillary Clinton has to be very happy with the margin she's running up down here in the big Democratic strongholds. She has to be very happy with these. The question is, what are the as the vote totals come in, do they match up to what she needs to offset?
Has anybody seen Hillary Clinton truly smile? It's pretty rare, I'd say.
Hillary Clinton is in the lead right now. You see she's got 53% to his 43%. 12% of the vote in Ohio is now in.
Only 12%. If this holds up, it's game over. Republicans don't win the White House without winning the state of Ohio. But again, so Wolf, we got a ways to go in Ohio as we watch it fill in. At the moment, the Clinton campaign's happy with what it sees, but we all...
And look at all these wins we're projecting for Hillary Clinton right now. She wins her state of Illinois. That's where she was born. Hillary Clinton wins in Illinois with its 20 electoral votes. In Massachusetts, another win for Hillary Clinton in Massachusetts. An important win for Hillary Clinton in the state of Maryland. Hillary Clinton carries the state of Rhode Island with its 4 electoral votes. Delaware, 3 electoral votes. Then the District of Columbia, which could vote in presidential contest, 3 electoral votes go to Hillary Clinton. We project he will carry the state of Oklahoma with 7 electoral votes. Donald Trump will carry Tennessee with 11 electoral votes. Donald Trump will also carry Mississippi with 6 electoral votes.
I was just talking to a Republican source who says that at this point, the way that they're seeing the modeling, it looks like Donald Trump is more likely than not to lose by a couple of points in Florida. That's what they're seeing. They could always be surprised. They don't have all the votes in, but that is the expectation from a Republican source that I'm talking to.
But it's very important what Dana just said. There's modeling, there's polling,
right,
and then there's the voters.
Yeah,
exactly.
There's all
most important.
There's the science, and there is the methodology, and then there's what people actually do. So even
and
though
the do is what's happening
that means it ain't science
as we speak.
And even though there are Democrats saying we think we're going to win Florida, and Republicans saying we think they might win Florida, at the end of the day, nobody knows what's going to happen until the voters actually do it.
All right, let's take a look at Florida first. You see Hillary Clinton. She has an almost 80,000 vote lead over Donald Trump with 77% of the vote in 20. She also has a lead with almost half of the vote in North Carolina, 185,000 plus a vote lead over Donald Trump. In Ohio, a quarter of the vote is now in. Hillary Clinton is ahead in Ohio.
I think we all know the result that happens in 2016, but based on what I'm watching, I'm not exactly sure how we got there. Leave it in the comments with your thoughts.
As well,
I'm getting worried.
137,000 vote lead over Donald Trump.
Almost 80% of the vote in Florida, Wolf, and it's very, very close, 48.9 to 48.2.
It's only 50,000 votes now. It's just shrunk a bit.
It's just shrunk a bit as you're starting to fill the map in. And again, when you fill the map in up here, you can expect Donald Trump to make up ground.
Hillary Clinton has a lead there in North Carolina as well. Half the vote in North Carolina is now in, John, and she's ahead by about 150,000 votes with 53% of the vote in. That's significant.
It is significant because it gets harder. Donald Trump, again, in the big population centers, Hillary Clinton is winning, and she's winning by some pretty lopsided margins so far. But Ohio, excuse me, if Ohio
Subscribe
stays blue,
to the channel, y'all.
Hillary Clinton's the next president of the United States. That's simple. But we're early. We're only up to 27% of the vote there. And so if you're the Clinton campaign, you like these numbers, you're waiting to see another.
I want to go to Florida right now because what? 85% of the vote in Florida is in, look at this, 3,876,000, 3,860,000, only what about 15 or 16,000 votes separate these two candidates in Florida with 85% of the vote in. Her lead, once again, has shrunk.
Has shrunk. And
all right, take a look at Florida because all of a sudden, take a look at Florida right now. You see with 85% of the vote in, Hillary Clinton is now in second place. Donald Trump has taken the lead in Florida. Look at how close it is. Look at how 700 votes or so separate these two candidates. Donald Trump, all of a sudden, has taken the lead in Florida.
Victory is ours.
Once again, Hillary Clinton is now in the lead. It's going to update in a second. We're watching this very closely. You can see right there. Hillary Clinton is the lead.
And that's, look, we're going to rock and roll with this for a while here. So let's go through. Here's an encouraging sign for Secretary Clinton. You say she just pulled into the lead. We've had a seesaw in the 2 or 3 minutes we've been having this conversation here. We may have another one as we have it.
Now 3,000 votes.
But there are votes. There are only 25% of the vote in Palm Beach County. She's winning 60-40, 59-39 there. So if you're the Clinton campaign, you're watching this seesaw, you know there's a lot of votes missing from here.
We'll start with Florida. 88% of the vote is in. Look at how close it is, 48.5% to 48.4%. Donald Trump has now taken the lead. 88% of the vote is in. Donald Trump has now taken an 8,000-plus vote lead. In North Carolina, more than half of the vote is in. Hillary Clinton maintains a steady lead of nearly 150,000 votes over Donald Trump. In Ohio, almost a third of the vote is in. Hillary Clinton maintains her lead of about 120,000 votes over Donald Trump. So this is a significant number right now.
And we're again, this is going to be seesaw.
It's a nail biter.
Hang out for a while. Brew some espresso. If you're in the Clinton campaign, you're down a little bit right now, but here's what's encouraging to you. If you look at Palm Beach County, she's running it up quite big right here, and they still have 75%
Only 25% of the vote is in.
Right. So if the margin stays anything like that, there's a lot more math to be added in the Hillary Clinton column.
91% of the vote is in, and Donald Trump is building up a sort of impressive lead. 66% of the vote in North Carolina is in. Hillary Clinton has an impressive lead of 131,000 over Donald Trump. In Ohio, 31% of the vote is in. Hillary Clinton has a lead of almost 100,000 votes over Donald Trump in Ohio. In Virginia, 45%, almost half of the vote is in. Donald Trump has an impressive lead over Hillary Clinton in Virginia, 130,000 vote lead. 9% of the vote in Georgia is in. Donald Trump has an impressive lead of 169,000 plus over Hillary Clinton. In Michigan, they're going to be closing the polls, but we've got some numbers so far. Hillary Clinton has a 20,000 vote lead over Donald Trump. 6% of the vote is in Michigan. And in Texas, they'll be closing the polls soon, but 46% of the vote has been released. Hillary Clinton, look at this, has a 56,000 vote lead over Donald Trump with almost half of the vote in Texas right now. Donald Trump will win the state of South Carolina with its 9 electoral votes. And Donald Trump will also win Alabama with its 9 electoral votes. Look at how close it is. 68 electoral votes for Hillary Clinton, 66 for Donald Trump. You need Jake. This is a nail biter in several of these states. It's been going back and forth, up and down.
In Florida, especially Donald Trump with something like a 60,000 vote lead right now. But there are still lots of outstanding votes in Brett. And still, it's as we always said, this was going to be a very tight race in some of these states. And in Florida, really, I have no idea what's going to happen. Republicans and Democrats still anticipate Hillary Clinton could edge it out. But at the end of the day, who knows?
And Dana, Donald Trump really needs to win Florida if he's going to have a major shot. He could do it in other ways, but Florida is so important.
That's right. Look, it's important for him just emotionally and symbolically because he feels that it is a second home because of Mar-a-Lago and other places that he has there. But
which, of course, the Democrats raided in order to recover some classified documents that they did not want him to have, perhaps.
Also,
evildoers.
Much more importantly, mathematically, it is very, very hard for him to get the keys to the White House without going through Florida first. And as you said, the counties that are out do seem to be more Democratic than the ones that we already have in that shows Donald Trump slightly ahead. But I
originally said he wasn't going to run for re-election. He decided to run for
It was
re-election.
only 4 months ago that
John,
he changed his mind.
let's take a look at the state of Florida right now, because Hillary Clinton was ahead, Donald Trump was ahead. They're going back and forth. There's still votes outstanding. Look at this. Look at this. 48.9%, 48.1%. Look at a small lead over there for Donald Trump over Hillary Clinton. He's ahead by only what 77,000 votes. That's a significant number.
That's a significant number. And then again, as I said earlier, we're going to keep looking. And so if you're looking at this map right now at 91%, you're crossing them a little bit in the Clinton campaign, but you think you get enough down here still in the bank to get you over the finish line. But that's by no means guaranteed, because we're going to have to go through all these smaller rural counties.
He's 84,000 votes ahead right now.
So Trump is winning all this red. And if you're Donald Trump, be patient. Republicans should not give up on Ohio. There's a lot of places here that have not counted the votes. And we have a lot of counting to do still in Ohio. She's ahead at the moment, but there's a lot of business to be done. As you see, most of these counties are still in the 20s or the 30% wise.
Let's go back to North Carolina, because Hillary Clinton's lead in North Carolina, critically important state, has just narrowed to about 66,000 votes.
Come on, Donald.
61% of the vote in. Florida right now, 91% of the vote has been counted. Donald Trump has 110,000 vote lead over. In Virginia, almost 60% of the vote is now in. Donald Trump is ahead by 128,000 votes. In Ohio, more than a third of the vote is in. Hillary Clinton has a lead of 36,500 votes over Donald Trump. And in North Carolina, 61% of the vote is in. Hillary Clinton's lead is 62,000 over Donald Trump.
Shrinking,
we're watching Florida.
Shrinkage.
Right now, let's say Florida. More than 90%, Jake, of the vote is now in.
And it's surprising how close it is, given the fact that both Democrats and Republicans in the state had thought that Hillary Clinton had a slight edge. We're still waiting for a lot of outstanding vote in southeastern Florida, which is a Democratic stronghold. But he's up more than 100,000 votes as of right now, with 91% of the vote in.
Yeah, that's impressive, impressive lead, but it's
pretty
good. It can certainly come back depending on what happens in those heavily Democratic counties in the southeast.
That's right. And look, they not only spent money, but they also sent their most prized resources, the candidates themselves, over and over again.
Yeah, Anderson, this night is turning out to be a real nail-biter.
It is fascinating. It's going to be a long night indeed.
I was just speaking with a Republican in the state, 800,000 to 1 million votes still out. They believe, this Republican says, that her Democratic buddies are very worried about the state right now. And I think that you see the Latino turnout in the state was 18%. Barack Obama's, David pointed out to me, was 17%. So it's a little bit up, but it's not usually up, which is what we anticipated. African-American vote is up in the state. 15%. So that may balance it out.
David,
because all the minorities have to vote Democrat, of course, because that's what Democrats do. They bribe you for their vote.
I think when you look at what's out, I think there's cause for optimism.
In terms of what votes have not been counted in those heavily leaning Democratic areas.
And as John King points.
That's David Axelrod. He's a Democrat strategist that worked for Barack Obama. And of course, everything is being framed as optimistic for Hillary Clinton. That's the problem with these news networks, is that they don't balance it out with somebody saying it's optimistic for Donald Trump. No, it just demonstrates the bias of the network directly right there.
That is how you have to look at these things. There are some big pockets of support for her that are out. This is going to be close.
Assuming the votes that have not been counted in those leaning Democratic areas continue to mirror the votes that have been counted in those same areas.
Then she would end up winning the state. But, so if I were sitting there and looking at this, I would say, let's count them, because if you're on the Democratic side.
Let's count it because, it's mandated by law, and why not?
This thing could turn out.
But I mean, all along, the Trump campaign has been saying that Florida's a must-win for them.
Absolutely.
And I mean,
they can't win without it. They have to have it, and they have to have other states as well that they've not been leading it in the polls. But this one, because of the size of it, they have to have. So this is really this is going to tell a lot of the story of this race.
And what this points to is this divide in this country.
Yeah.
Urban, rural, and you see it in the state of Florida.
You certainly do, Wolf.
First, let's go to Jeff Zeleny at Clinton campaign headquarters. And Jeff, these numbers out of North Carolina and Florida have got to be nerve-wracking for the Clinton team, especially Florida, which they felt pretty confident about.
They did indeed, Jake. Really, for the last couple of days, the Clinton campaign's confidence has been rising about Florida. What we're seeing here is seeing campaign strategy play out in real life. Keep an eye on Broward County, as John and you and everyone has been saying. Secretary Clinton visited there 3 times in the last week alone. They were literally dragging people to early vote. So that is something that is still out. That's why one top advisor tells me just a few moments ago there is no panic because of Broward County. But I can tell you, Jake, much closer than they thought. They're also watching Pennsylvania very carefully, but one advisor tells me we're flying almost blind there. This is old school, no early voting. They're frankly not sure what's happening in Philadelphia as much, but first things first, and first for the...
Can they get enough cheating done in Philadelphia to offset the will of the people? Leave it in the comments if you think they can.
The Clinton campaign is watching Broward County and watching South Florida.
Sarah, the Trump campaign, while who knows what's going to happen, they've got to feel pretty good. They're really turning some of these states into very competitive battlegrounds.
They do feel very good about that, Jake, and particularly when you look at Florida and how tight the race is there. They're pleased to see that, but this is not a campaign that's out there popping champagne or rejoicing about the numbers they're seeing. They expected Florida to be very tight and very nerve-wracking, and they are very aware of the fact that if they cannot pull out a victory in Florida, then basically Donald Trump's chances of reaching 270 pretty much evaporate. And so that's why when I was checking in with one Trump staffer about how they're feeling so far about Florida, this person just told me simply scared.
It's a lot closer, Dana, than so many people thought in these key battleground states. This is going to take a while.
It is going to be a long night. Look, I mean, it is a divided country, and at least as far as the votes are showing us as
a divided country. And believe me when I state that in the next 8 years plus, you are going to divide the country even more with your reporting. You personally, Dana Bash.
Coming in now, that is playing out. I mean, there's no question about it, and especially and incredibly so in the purple state of Florida.
All right, take a look at this. We project that Hillary Clinton will carry her home state of New York. That's 29 electoral votes. Donald Trump, we project, will win Kansas with its 6 electoral votes, Nebraska with its 5 electoral votes, and Wyoming with its 3 electoral votes. He will carry North Dakota with its 3 electoral votes, and South Dakota with its 3 electoral votes. Here's the electoral map as it stands right now. Hillary Clinton has 97 electoral votes. Donald Trump has 84 electoral votes.
Democrats celebrate the win of Hillary Clinton of that state, the Empire State, but still, this is just the beginning of what looks like it's going to be a very long night.
Yeah, but Florida, that's the big story right now.
It is so razor thin. You know, I'm texting back and forth with both Democrats and Republicans. Frankly, both are surprised at how tight it is and how the Latino vote, at least it looks at this point, guys. Certainly it's higher than it was in 2012 and 2008, but not the surge in that particular state that
take that, Anna Navarro.
Many suspected would come.
And at least right now, there are counties where Donald Trump is outperforming every Republican that has run in Florida for president in 16 years. He's doing very, very well, driving up Republican turnout and the Republican vote in some of these right-leaning counties.
Yep, and look, this is the story that Donald Trump and his team said that we would be telling in many of these places, that they're...
Start in Florida right now. Donald Trump is ahead impressively with 91% of the vote now in. Look at this. He has a lead of 143,361. That's an impressive lead right now with so many votes already counted. In Ohio, Donald Trump also has a lead of more than 52,000 with 39% of the vote in. In Virginia right now, Donald Trump still has an impressive lead. In Virginia, 66% of the vote is in. Donald Trump is ahead by more than 108,000 votes. In Georgia, 29% of the vote is in. Donald Trump has a very impressive lead of more than 340,000 over Hillary Clinton. To North Carolina right now, 69% of the vote is in. Look at how close it is. Donald Trump has a lead, but of only 689 votes. He just took the lead over Hillary Clinton in North Carolina. Direction. Now his lead has grown a little bit. As we're speaking, his lead is almost 3,000 votes over Hillary Clinton. Donald Trump building up an impressive lead.
He is building up an impressive lead. The question is there enough still out there for Hillary Clinton? You know, You see the vote count there. She needs to make it up. Is it there? Potentially. Potentially.
The fact is that I'm genuinely excited watching this because I know the damage that Hillary Clinton and her ilk would have done to our nation. Followed by Joe Biden or whoever, it would have been catastrophic. Thank God.
Palm Beach here, 83% of the vote in. That lead there, she gets some vote here. This is the big question mark. Let me pull. The big question mark remains Broward County. Are there enough Democratic votes left? We have it at 16%. We're waiting for an update. That's been held solid there for some time. So sometimes you get a vote dump, the percentage total jumps up pretty quickly. Is there enough there? That's really the biggest outstanding question, is how much of a boost will Hillary Clinton get out of Broward County, and is it enough to overcome that Donald Trump lead? Because most of Miami-Dade is in. Again, 7% left, and it's pulling away. Is there enough there for Hillary Clinton in what's left in Broward and in Miami-Dade to pull it off? If you start to look at it right now, you get more and more skeptical as you move from 93. The question is we move that up to 95 and beyond. If you're in the Trump campaign, you're very happy with this right now. And again, at the moment, if you're in the Trump war room, you're reasonably optimistic, but you're waiting to see. This is where the clock starts to tick against Hillary Clinton. Now that you're up to 83%.
Palm Beach County.
83% in Palm Beach County, so there's not that many more votes to come in. What comes in is coming in her favor by a lopsided margin, but then you say, okay, we're up to 83%, boom. She's getting closer. The question is, do you get close enough with what's still left? So we'll count to the last vote in Florida.
All right, we projected it. Donald Trump will carry a huge prize. Texas, with all of its 38 electoral votes, a big win for Donald Trump in the state of Texas. Democrats had hope, but it's not going to happen for them this time around. Donald Trump also carries Bill Clinton's home state of Arkansas with 6 electoral votes. He has now taken the lead. Donald Trump has 128 electoral votes. Hillary Clinton has 97 electoral votes. John, he's taken the lead of the Electoral College count, which is significant right now. There's still plenty of other states out there.
But as you look at the map right now, if you're Donald Trump, you're leading in Florida. You're leading in Virginia. We've got some votes to be counted there in the D.C. suburbs. But you just pulled ahead in Ohio, Michigan, and Wisconsin. Again, very, very early. But if you're in the Trump war room, you're looking at this, and you're saying, we told you so. We have a path. Now, does that path hold up as we go into the next hour and the next hour, and I sort of suspect the next hour and the next hour? We'll see. We'll see. But I just want to stretch it out a little bit. Let me turn this off and just stretch it out a little bit and look. So the fact that Trump is so competitive, even if he narrowly loses this state, right now he's winning, and he's in position to potentially win it. Even if he narrowly loses this state, it tells you he is performing in a way that is going to surprise some Democrats. And that
almost half of the vote is now in Ohio, and Donald Trump has a significant lead, almost 200,000 votes over Hillary Clinton.
Almost 200,000 votes, and yet, a lot of votes still to be counted because, so you're going through this. What does that tell you? This is encouraging news if you're the Trump campaign, in the sense that there's a lot of votes to be counted. Look at all this red, and there's still a lot of votes to be counted out here. So you're the Trump campaign, you're thinking, sure, it's only a couple hundred in this county, maybe 1,000 there, maybe 1,500 there, but that's a lot of counties. It's a lot of math to do. So the question for the Democrats is, can you make it up here? This is fun. I mean, this is, but it's starting to inch out a little bit. I want to just pull this over. We make sure we have the full count of the vote, and you look at it through. He's starting to pull away. I mean, in Ohio, pulling away.
Almost 200,000 vote lead right now.
Yeah, 200,000 vote lead, and that's significant. You get in the 300,000 vote lead, and then you're coming to here and you say, okay, what have I got left? She might have 100,000 there, maybe a little bit more, but do you have 200,000? That's the math you're doing now in these war rooms when you're going to call all your people and say, in this Democratic area, what's still missing? How much am I going to get? Athens.
Because Donald Trump is ahead with only, about 15% of the vote is in. But in Michigan, this is a state that Donald Trump was predicting strongly he would do well. And you see right there.
I was just going to say, in the Trump war room right now, they would like to hit freeze. Minnesota, Wisconsin, Michigan, red at the moment, the early results. If they could just freeze the map right now.
What is wrong with the people of Wisconsin that they elected Tim Walz and a lieutenant governor who advocates for trans children and wears a shirt that states that if you raise your voice against trans kids, there's a big knife on the front? It's pathetic. What is wrong with the people of Minnesota? How did they get this leftist and indoctrinated?
I'd be quite happy. I don't say that to be, a smart aleck. They're looking at themselves right now in the early returns.
He's up by almost 20,000
They're doing what they said they would do. They are competitive across the Rust Belt. Very early return. So let's just, take a breath. But They are proving that they'll be competitive across the Rust Belt. We'll see when we get from 15% and higher. But that's a very close race right now. So what do you wanted to go to Pennsylvania? 12% of the vote?
Donald Trump is ahead by, what, 107? I mean, Hillary Clinton is ahead of Donald Trump by, what, about 177,000 votes. That's a healthy lead early on.
I suspect this is about the... this won't last very long. Virginia. This would be beyond embarrassing to the Democrats. And if Donald Trump wins Virginia, Donald Trump is probably going to win North Carolina because this is a more Democratic state than North Carolina. So it's one of the things you watch. So we're not there yet. We're not there yet. We're only at 76% of the vote.
Now 94% of the vote is in. You see Donald Trump maintains an impressive lead. Trump is ahead impressively in Ohio.
Trump is ahead.
Trump is also ahead. More than half of the vote is in. Donald Trump has a 235,000 vote lead over Hillary Clinton. Very impressive lead in Ohio right now. 18 electoral votes. In Virginia, Trump is ahead there. He's got a lead of 42,000 plus in Virginia. He is also ahead significantly in Georgia, 384,000 votes ahead of Hillary Clinton. 41% of the vote is in. 76% of the vote is in North Carolina. And Trump has a 56,000 vote lead over Hillary Clinton. In Michigan, 17% of the vote is in. Look at this. Donald Trump is ahead in Michigan right now as well, 28,000 plus votes over Hillary Clinton. In Wisconsin,
they said that they were confident about Michigan, remember.
Hillary Clinton has a 25,000 vote lead over Donald Trump. 10 electoral votes in Wisconsin, but this is very early. Only 12% of the vote in Wisconsin is in right now. And in Pennsylvania, Hillary Clinton right now has an impressive 154,000 vote lead over Donald Trump. 17% of the vote is now in. Jim, what is the mood over there?
There are some happy campers over here at Trump campaign headquarters, Wolf. It is very clear every time the returns are flashed on the screens here from the state of Florida, this place erupts into cheers, and it's been happening in just the last several minutes when they've been flashing returns from Ohio and Virginia, these other battlegrounds that Donald Trump must win. And Kellyanne Conway, the Trump campaign manager, sent out an email that sort of captures the mood in their war room. She says there's a buzz in the war room that can be felt across the nation. A win is imminent, and America will once again be great again. A lot of campaign spin in that, but obviously reflects where they are right now. We're hearing a lot of pessimism and some people sounding very glum inside this campaign, inside this operation earlier today. That mood has done a 180, Wolf. They are feeling much more optimistic tonight. They were even cheering. And so I would say, Wolf, that this place does not sound like a losing campaign at this point. They are, I won't say jubilant, but every time they flash Florida on this screen, it goes wild here.
Yeah, over at the Javits Center, that's the Clinton headquarters. What's the mood over there, Brianna?
Well, I will tell you, Wolf, that there are a number of anxious faces that I'm looking at.
Get
here
more
in the
anxious,
crowd.
baby.
When we were listening to some of the projections come in at 9 p.m., Hillary Clinton winning some of the states that she was expected to, a lot of cheering. But as we're watching now, some of these very close states, there are a lot of people who are glued to the projections. They've been switching in and out of the big screen between an outside program going on where we just saw Senator Chuck Schumer speaking. He could be the Senate Majority Leader if Democrats are to take over the Senate. But going back now to watching projections, this is what the crowd is anxious to be looking for as they see Florida, they see the vote count very tight. Now, meanwhile, Secretary Clinton is about a mile and a half from here. She's at the Peninsula Hotel. She is obviously watching these returns as well. She's with her family. She's with her husband and her daughter and her son-in-law, as well as her grandkids, and a number of close aides and longtime confidants. She has been working on her speech, both speeches, I should say, and she has aides working in some of the fixes she's been doing. But again, a lot of curiosity here about how the night is going to unfold and which of those speeches she's going to be giving, Wolf.
A lot of us.
I guarantee you that she did not prepare a speech to lose. She tweeted about herself with a picture of her as a child. Congratulations to this future president. So don't tell me that she's been practicing the concession speech. She never conceded. She called Trump illegitimate his entire presidency. F her.
Certainty right now. And you see what's going on. Trump is doing remarkably well.
We have said from the beginning that for Donald Trump to win, he would need to run the table. And right now we are seeing that there is a path, a very clear path for Donald Trump. He is very competitive in all the key states, including Virginia, which could possibly be, there could be the crack in the blue wall, the firewall that Hillary Clinton had. We're seeing very tight races in the Midwest. The numbers are still coming in. A very nail-biters, not just in North Carolina, but Florida. It seems entirely possible that Donald Trump could end up having a very strong night, even the night that he's been dreaming of. We have a picture, I think, of Donald Trump with his running.
Strong night and finishing in second place means virtually zero. The only thing that matters is the end result, and that's getting into the White House and taking power.
Mike Pence watching the returns coming in. This is a much stronger night than a lot of Republican officials thought was going to happen. We still don't know what's going to happen.
Subscribe to the channel,
obviously,
y'all.
the key states that we really need. We need to make Hillary Clinton we need to make Hillary Clinton needs to keep Pennsylvania, and she needs to keep New Hampshire. She needs to keep Michigan, and she needs to keep Virginia. Those four are the ones for all the Hillary Clinton supporters out there wondering, oh my God, we're going to lose Ohio. Oh my God, we're going to lose Florida. Those four are the path. That's the firewall. Pennsylvania, Virginia, New Hampshire, and Michigan. But if there is a crack in any of those four states, this is going to be a night where the Jacob Javits Center is the wrong place for Hillary Clinton to be.
Those four states are states that President Obama carried twice.
That's right. And
Pennsylvania, Hillary Clinton is ahead, 221,506 votes. And take a look at Michigan right now. You see Donald Trump has a lead of 44,000 plus votes in Michigan right now. 19% of the vote is in. You heard, all of us heard from Donald Trump's advisors over these past several weeks. They had a path. And at least right now, it looks like they do have a credible path.
They do absolutely have a credible path. And look, if this night ends up being the way that Donald Trump and his advisors think and hope that it will be, boy, I mean, it's going to put the polling industry out of business. It's going to be the voter projection business.
That's because a lot of these polls are push polls. They are there to serve an agenda, to convince the voter that hasn't completely made up his mind to be on the winning team. So they give results or predictions that are not in line with reality, like Ann Seltzer in the 2024 election of the Des Moines Register, who favored Kamala Harris to win by 13. It was almost definitely a paid-for poll in order to bolster support and enthusiasm for Kamala. This is propaganda.
Out of business because I don't know of one poll that suggested that Donald Trump was going to have this kind of night that he seems to be on track to having. And in fact, we all look at these websites. I don't need to name them, but that prognosticate the odds. Hillary Clinton has this percentage odds that she's going to win.
And just remember, Hillary Clinton in the betting markets was actually a 9-1 favorite. So a lot of people were betting their money based on the false narrative being propagated by these push poll firms.
And most of them had Hillary Clinton, the odds of her becoming the president, at over 65%. Well, I just logged on to one of them, and it has Donald Trump at 54%. Now, these are this is not science. This is prognostication based on data coming in and polls and the like. But really, we're seeing, first of all, this is not the repudiation of Donald Trump and Trumpism that I think a lot of Republicans in Washington, D.C. and Democrats hoped. But beyond that, we're seeing...
Isn't it amazing that the Republicans in Washington, D.C. were hoping for a repudiation of their country club politics that favor the weapons manufacturers and the elites that are out there golfing? Yeah, I'm very glad that Donald Trump won this election, and I did not vote in 2016, and I would have voted for Gary Johnson, actually. That would have been my first vote against the Democrats. I was not ready to jump on the Trump train yet, but I see the good that he's done for the nation, and I am swayed and moved to people that produce good results with good intentions, not Hillary Clinton, in other words.
As you say, Wolf, a credible path for Donald Trump to the White House. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but it certainly could.
And you know, Jim was talking about the feeling inside the Trump victory party, which of course they always call it before we get the results. It's not just there. It's the photo of Donald Trump and Mike Pence watching the returns with the people who have been working on their campaign in the war room is one thing. And then the people who are closest to Donald Trump are watching in a room right now. And they said that the mood has changed completely.
Dana, we have Hillary Clinton will carry the state of Connecticut with its 7 electoral votes. Donald Trump will win Louisiana with its 8 electoral votes. You see right now, Donald Trump's still ahead. He has 136 electoral votes to Hillary Clinton's 104 electoral votes.
Just going through and you're trying to look, let's just start down here in Florida. I was just emailing back and forth with a key Democrat and Republicans who know this state very well. The Republican is not a fan of Donald Trump, trust me, who thinks that Donald Trump has enough to hold on here. That doesn't mean he will, but we're up to 95% here now. And
right now, we have a major projection in the battle for the United States Congress. CNN can now project that Republicans will keep control of the House of Representatives. We fully expected the Republicans would win. We're still going to get the number, but they will be the majority, and that is significant.
Yeah, it was not a surprise at all. We knew that
That's right, and we should tell our viewers that what this means for us is not that we've called every House race. Obviously, that would be impossible at this time of the night. It means that we, looking at the numbers, see that there's no path for the Democrats to get the 30 seats needed to retake control of the
Now let's get back to the start with Florida. 95% of the vote is in, and Donald Trump has an impressive 100, almost a 112,000 vote lead over Hillary Clinton. In Ohio, 61% of the vote is in, and Donald Trump there is a very impressive 353, almost 354,000 vote lead over Hillary Clinton. 18 Virginia. Donald Trump is leading there, but very, very narrowly. Only in Georgia, almost half of the vote is in there. Donald Trump once again has a very impressive lead of more than 365,000 votes, 16 electoral votes at stake in Georgia right now. North Carolina, 78% of the vote is in. Trump maintains a lead, a significant lead, 85,000 votes over Hillary Clinton with 15 electoral votes at stake in North Carolina. In Michigan, 20% of the vote is in. Trump is ahead there as well by more than 41,000 votes. Trump is ahead over Hillary Clinton, 16 electoral votes in Michigan. Wisconsin, 21% of the vote is in. And there in Wisconsin, Trump is leading there as well. 43,000 plus votes over Hillary Clinton. Pennsylvania, a quarter of the vote is in. Hillary Clinton has a significant lead there of 276,000 plus votes over Donald Trump. Donald Trump is doing remarkably well, John, in so many of these states that President Obama carried twice.
And so we'll get to the results in a minute, but first the question people are asking at home, does he have a path now? With what we are seeing, does he have a path? And remember, this is where we started the night. We had Secretary Clinton at 268 to start the night. All she needed to do was win one more state if, and it's a big if at this hour, she held all the blues. So let's just go through this where we are right now. Okay, Donald Trump, we had at 204. Well, Donald Trump is leading right now in Florida. Let's see if he can hold on to Florida. That's 29. Donald Trump is leading right now in North Carolina. Let's see if he can hold that. Look where that gets Donald Trump. Let's assume we're not out west yet. This may come down. We could come down to Arizona and Nevada in this race, but let's just say Donald Trump wins Arizona, where he was leading in the late polls. That gets him to 259, Wolf. He's leading in Virginia right now. That would do it. Let's assume Clinton comes back in Virginia and holds that, just for the sake of argument. Michigan would do it. Or if somehow Michigan stayed blue, Wisconsin would get him to 269. New Hampshire could do it under that scenario. So there are now several different paths as we watch this play out. What does it come down to? It comes down to counting to the final vote there. We got a ways to go here still. And Carolina's not over. But if you're Donald Trump and you're now at just shy of 80% and you're looking at a 2.5, 3-point lead there, you're getting increasingly confident about that. And as I said, when you check in with people down here, increasingly, even Democrats believe because of his strength. But we're going to wait for these votes to come in, and we're going to see. There's a chance that some of these states are going to carry over into the morning.
I want to go to Virginia right now. There's been a
Don't worry, the Democrats learned their lesson in 2020. They were ready with their shenanigans.
Dramatic development in Virginia.
Blue. There you go.
There it is. You can see Hillary Clinton has now taken a slightly, less than 2,000 votes, 47.5% to 47.4%. You see her lead has just grown.
If you're the Clinton campaign, you just let out a huge sigh of relief in one state. One state. They're still having.
It's not over with in Virginia yet.
It's not over. It's not over yet. But if you study the.
The sad thing is that all those huge Virginia mansions are owned by people that create virtually zero. They're living off of government largesse. All that NGO money, for example, Stacey Abrams getting $2 billion to fund whatever she wanted to fund, and no doubt give some money to her amigos. That is what people in Virginia with those 10-acre mansions are living off of, your tax dollars. That's why it's turning blue as the government expands. They have a greater interest to vote for those who fund them.
This state, you think this one just started to move your way. It's very close. Still a swing state that leans blue.
Subscribe to the channel, y'all, if you like my commentary.
That's what I was waiting for all night long. Again, we're not done. We're not done, but they feel, trust me, just for the fact that that is suddenly blue on this map, in this sea of red makes them feel a little bit better as we count the rest of the votes. And so,
I want to look at Wisconsin if we can, because you know they both made plays for it, and it was not supposed to be. It was not really supposed to be in play.
It was not supposed to be in play, except the Trump campaign told us they could make a run at this late, and a lot of people didn't believe them. They had the dysfunction.
Let me just tell our viewers.
Just to emphasize the push-pull industry, during this time, there were polls that favored Hillary Clinton by 16 points in an effort to suppress the Trump voter for going out, because what difference would it make, or to get undecided voters on the Hillary Clinton train. This is what I'm talking about, where Donald Trump ends up winning Wisconsin, but you have these alleged scientific pollsters that favored Hillary Clinton by 16. Either they're stupid, they're really bad at their jobs, or they're lying. And in this case, they were lying.
Order of the vote is in 26%, and Trump is ahead 50% to 44%. He's got more than 40,000 vote lead right now. And CNN projects Donald Trump will carry the state of Montana and its 3 electoral votes. U.S. popular vote. Donald Trump has 48.9%. Hillary Clinton has 47%. Jake, I know you've checked the markets right now. How are they reacting to all of this so far? Pretty good news for Donald Trump.
It's great news for Donald Trump so far, and it's an unpredictable race. We're talking about this, how much this really upends so much of the prediction industry. But the one thing that the markets don't like is uncertainty. And right now we've been told that U.S. stock futures are down nearly 500 points. That's 2.7%. Wall Street has consistently during this election season, whenever Trump took the lead or seemed to be doing well, investors have been worried about his unpredictability. So right now, with all this news that seems to be excellent for Donald Trump, Wall Street and the markets are very, very jittery.
A lot of jittery people out there right now, Dana.
You know, I'm guessing that the people in Brooklyn, I can see their fingers
That's
probably.
the Hillary Clinton headquarters.
Yeah, fingers probably bleeding because there's no more nail to bite. I'm guessing that that's probably what's happening.
Good.
And
bite off your fingers.
I think it's really, really important to point to the state of Virginia, because these other battleground states where the candidates, both of them, traveled heavily, okay, you know, we expected those to be close. But the story of Virginia tonight, even though she has pulled ahead here, in the polling, and frankly, in some of the modeling, she was ahead by many, many points.
Significantly, yeah.
Significantly, and the fact that he is doing so well there tells you about the fervor out there. Whether it is for him, against her, or just against Washington, to me, that is a story that is really encapsulated in the Commonwealth of Virginia.
And let me just say again, we are still waiting for the results from these 4 firewall states. But I don't know what we're going to, I mean, Hillary Clinton needs to hold on to these 4. We still don't know what's going to happen in Michigan, Pennsylvania, Virginia, or New Hampshire. But Donald Trump is competitive in all 4 of them. And it is entirely possible that there is a wave out there that the pollsters and the predictors and all the vote modelers did not see coming at all.
82% of the vote in North Carolina is in. Donald Trump still maintains the lead, of about 120,000 votes.
And so you start to get to that point, 120,000 votes, you're thinking, is it possible? Is it at all possible to make that up? So there are some votes to be counted here, but if you look, come back, pull out to that statewide lead at 83%, that's a tough margin to make up. Doesn't make it impossible.
Let's take a look at 2 states, Michigan and Wisconsin. These are states that Hillary Clinton obviously has to win. Michigan first. Donald Trump is ahead right now in both of those states.
And as you look at the map, before I go into the numbers, these are the 2 states, if the map stays like we see it right now, if Donald Trump holds on to Florida, if Donald Trump holds on to North Carolina, then these are the states that will decide the next president of the United States. Wayne County is notoriously slow in reporting its votes. We've been up. We'll be here for a while. Let's just put it that way. We're 27% statewide, but she needs a big number out of Wayne County to make that up. Mathematically possible? Absolutely. But again, in the Clinton war room, trust me, they are frantically calling not only into Wayne County, but they're calling in down here too. The math is
quick. Get the pre-printed, uncreased ballots into the system before it's too late. We thought that we had Michigan sewn up. Did we print enough of those and have them signed by auto pens?
Still possible in a very tense Clinton war room right now. They're looking at Michigan and they're saying the math is possible. So let's go next door. We're at 33%.
Wisconsin.
This one's getting interesting. In this,
He's 51,000 votes ahead in Wisconsin right now, a state that usually goes Democratic.
And 51 to 42 or 52 to 43, if you want to round those up. Again, you go back in time, that's a problem. That's a problem. When you're in a state like this and you're underperforming, where the last Democrat who won it, that's an issue. So if you're underperforming here, the question is, are you overperforming anywhere else? Because Trump tends to be running well where he needs to do and very well in other places. So as you watch these counties start making big jumps, it is possible. It is possible to come back. But I can tell you right now, in the Clinton war room and in the Trump war room, this is where the urgent phone calls are going, into Michigan, into Wisconsin.
CNN now projects that Hillary Clinton will win the state of New Mexico with its 5 electoral votes. Donald Trump will win Missouri with its 10 electoral votes. Donald Trump is still ahead. He has 149 electoral votes to Hillary Clinton's 109 electoral votes.
But the early prognosis on the night was she wins that, holds everything out here, then she could afford to lose Florida. She could afford to lose North Carolina. But we're in a very different conversation right now. We are having a conversation now that it was impossible to have 2 weeks ago. That was just improbable. You were not having a reality-based conversation trying to do this map a couple of weeks ago. The polling told you that was a fool's errand. It is not a fool's errand tonight as we watch these results. Does that mean this is going to happen?
That's the reason that nobody trusts the so-called experts any longer.
No, we don't know that. We're going to be counting votes for a long time. But it is now conceivable. And
almost all of those 3 counties, heavily Democratic, they are almost all in.
They are almost all in. And so now you're going through, again, now you're calling, I hate to say this, but now is when you're calling in, is there anything outstanding? This is what we're waiting for. We're only at 16% in Wayne County, and this has to be not only the margin. If it's this close, 51 to 43, let's just go back in time and look at that. There's no way. There's just, if that stays that close, and we're waiting for inner-city Detroit. If inner-city Detroit comes in and blows that away. But if you look at this 73 to 26, if Donald Trump, at the end of the night, is getting over 40% of the vote in Wayne County, well, then that's a tough night for Democrats in the state of Michigan. So she better turn that percentage around big time if she wants to win Michigan. And number 2, where are the votes? That's not a lot of votes. That's not a lot of votes right now. We're only at 16%. But that's a warning sign. I just want to show you that again because it's a stunner if you look at it. 51% for Hillary Clinton in Wayne County. Tells you everything you need to know about Michigan at the moment. Emphasis on at the moment.
Donald Trump always said...
If you're at the Clinton campaign headquarters, you are calling your people out here, and you're asking what went on. And to be clear... I know Dana was sharing some of this reporting the other day as well. Democrats out here have been calling the Clinton campaign for months, not just weeks, but for months, saying you need to tend to the garden. You think you have this one for granted. You're just taking this for granted, thinking you're going to win it. You better get out here. If this keeps going this way, one of the criticisms after will be that they took the so-called blue wall, which is these states they've won since 1992, 240, last 6 presidential elections, 242 electoral votes. They include Wisconsin, they include Michigan, they include Pennsylvania, which looks good for Clinton at the moment. If these stay like this, she's going to have
Donald Trump's anti-trade message, like Bernie Sanders' anti-trade message, seems to have resonated in Michigan. Let's go to this presidential race, turning out to be a real nail-biter. We're following close contests in multiple battlegrounds right now, including Michigan and Wisconsin, 2 states surprisingly very much at play right now. We have a major projection right now. Donald Trump will take Ohio. CNN projects Donald Trump will win Ohio with its 18 electoral votes. A relief for Donald Trump. No Republican has ever won the White House without Ohio. He has won Ohio. Right now, he is ahead of Hillary Clinton. He has 167 electoral votes compared to Hillary Clinton's 109 electoral votes. And Dana, Jake,
better.
Big
Subscribe
win.
to the channel if you like these results.
Hillary Clinton campaigned there. Remember, it was just a few nights ago she was there with Beyonce and Jay-Z campaigning. I didn't know it was going to be so early that we're going to be able to call Ohio for Donald Trump. I always thought it was going to fall into his side of the aisle. It is remarkable what we're seeing here, not just Ohio, but all over the country. In Philadelphia, I was just looking, the returns coming in. Hillary Clinton with 81% of the vote in Philadelphia as of right now. That is not really all that good for Philadelphia. She should be doing much, much better in the city of Philadelphia. The margins where she really needs to be driving up the vote for a very strong Democratic performance in those counties. She's not getting that.
Dana, a lot of stunned Democrats out there right now.
That's right. And like that, no Republican has ever won Ohio without winning the White House since Richard Nixon in 1960. So there is a very long history of Ohio predicting the president, no matter where which party he is in. The other point I think is important to make is that Donald Trump, we are projecting to win Ohio, no thanks to the sitting Republican governor in Ohio, John Kasich, Donald Trump's former rival for the presidential nomination. John Kasich made it very, very clear, very loudly, that he did not think Trump was the right person for the party, the right person to lead the country, sat out of the convention, even though it was in his home state.
In Michigan, almost a third of the vote is in Michigan. Donald Trump has a 35,000-plus vote lead. In Wisconsin, 42% of the vote is in. He's ahead narrowly, 28,000 votes. And in Florida, 95% of the vote is in. Donald Trump has an impressive lead. In Florida, 135,000-plus vote lead. Let's go to North Carolina. Right now, Donald Trump, he has an impressive lead there with 84% of the vote in, more than 143,000, almost 144,000 vote lead. Almost half of the vote is in Georgia. Very impressive lead for Donald Trump, 347,000 vote lead over Hillary Clinton. He's doing well, very well in Georgia with its 16 electoral votes. And in Pennsylvania, more than half of the vote is in. She's got an impressive lead there of more than 167,000 votes in Pennsylvania. So she's doing well, relatively speaking, in Pennsylvania. And Donald Trump is ahead. He right now, we've projected, he has 167 electoral votes compared to Hillary Clinton's 109.
Just in a few places you're looking, you come down to Milwaukee, this is a danger sign for the Clinton campaign, but you're getting close. You're getting close to the end.
More danger signs for Hillary.
I just want you to just look at this map for a minute. This is where we are now. Focus on where the red is. And then when you go back 4 years, you see a lot. See this blue? President Obama winning in this part of the state right here. And you come back in here, see all this red? And now you're looking at them at the moment. We're still counting votes. So a lot of these counties, some I just went to, where was I? 10% of the votes there. So that doesn't, those numbers don't mean much. But you look at that, all that blue down here. Look at all that blue down here 4 years ago. It's a lot of red at the moment. And so 42% statewide counted.
I prefer the color red.
We got a ways to go.
To blue.
It's more than competitive, especially at only 42% of the vote. But this is a
He's got a 30,000 vote lead right now.
But this is a tough battle again. And this is. Anyone say a month ago we were going to be counting the votes in Wisconsin late into the night? Criticism is going to be that you ignored your friends. These are friendly Democratic states that have been Democratic for quite a long time, and look how close they are tonight. That's not to take, but these are not states where the Clinton campaign was repeatedly visiting in the parts of the campaign when they could have and should have. But you're looking at this. Donald Trump is doing what he has to do, and look at this. If you're looking at this, number one, if Donald Trump holds this and this, she can't afford to lose both of those. If she gets, well, her path to 270 was this. Let me switch maps here for you. This is where we started the night, but these were all lean. These were all lean Democratic. At the moment, Pennsylvania looks solid. We're still counting the votes.
Change the states.
Okay? Donald Trump leads here. Oops, sorry. And Donald Trump leads here. So we were talking all in the last couple of weeks that Donald Trump had such a narrow path, like drawing to an inside straight flush.
Take away Iowa.
The tables have flipped.
Take away Iowa.
Again, we haven't called it yet, Wolf, but Pennsylvania at the moment, Clinton has the healthy lead. Michigan and Wisconsin are the flashing red alerts at the Clinton War Room right now.
John, and CNN can project that Virginia, the Commonwealth of Virginia, will go to Hillary Clinton. 13 electoral votes. Let's take a look at Michigan first. 37% of the vote is in. Donald Trump still maintains a lead of almost 74,000 votes. In Wisconsin, almost half of the vote is in. Donald Trump is ahead there as well. He's ahead by almost 27,000 votes. Good. This is a moment.
It was Donald Trump versus almost all the experts. And as of right now, it looks like Donald Trump was right.
Yeah, he's doing.
He was right about a whole lot of things, and the experts were wrong about everything. But because you deify them and you make them, you put them on a pedestal that we must listen to them. Oh, goodness gracious. Why? Why do you continue with it even till today?
Something amazing right now. As he himself said, he said, don't believe all those polls.
That's right. And there you go. Look at Michigan right now. Donald Trump is up by 57,420 votes with just 38% of the vote in. But still, this is a blue state. This is the state that the Clinton campaign should have had in the bank a long time ago. And this is the other thing that is really stunning to Democrats. Wisconsin, I think we can put that up there as well. Wisconsin is a state that has not gone Republican in decades.
If you're looking, can she come back in Michigan? The answer is yes, she can. Not that she will. The answer is yes, she can. You look at all this red and you think
yes,
that's nuts. How is that possible? Votes, but there are some votes here. The Clinton War Room says they're confident. The rest of this is overwhelmingly Democratic. We'll see if they're right. What the Clinton War Room says, and I just checked with a labor activist I know out here just to be sure that we're not getting spun too much, and he said he generally agrees that Donald Trump led it all night long. He led, and then the Democratic areas came in and it flipped. Is that? They're checking everywhere, but even Republicans who don't like Trump in Florida think he's got this one. We'll see how it goes as we go forward. 90%, so you're starting to look, where are these votes? That's not good news for the Clinton campaign when you look at North Carolina. 100.
More bad
so you're looking
news
at this
for
and you're
Hillary.
thinking, you know, again, we're not ready to call this state by any means. We're going to be counting for a long time. But again, we could be counting votes in California, Wolf, when this comes in. This is how it goes sometimes. We're going to wait on this. We're going to wait on this. And again, the Clinton campaign says they're not panicking. Trust me, they're concerned. They say they're not panicking because they're told that's where the votes are. I checked in with a labor activist who says they're generally right, although he's a little skeptical. There are enough of them. We'll see how that plays out.
CNN can now project that the state of Colorado will go to Hillary Clinton with its 9 electoral votes. Another important win for Hillary Clinton. She needs all of these wins right now. So Trump is in the lead. He's got a lead there. Are there any encouraging signs outstanding for Hillary Clinton in New Hampshire?
I wouldn't call anything encouraging for Hillary Clinton at the moment, to be honest with you, my friend. But yes,
let's go to Pennsylvania right now. She's ahead in Pennsylvania. Take a look. She's ahead by only less than 100,000 votes in Pennsylvania, with 66% of the vote counted.
The way the rest of this night is going, she's happy, Wolf, in the sense that, no, it's odd in the sense that we thought, if we were talking about this, and our good friend Jeffrey Lord is from Pennsylvania, consistently we have thought that this would be the test. This is where the Trump campaign told us would be the big test. We're not done. We're not done here, but this one has been blue. She has led consistently throughout the night. So she's at 82%. You know, you come back here, again, you go back 4 years ago, 85%. And so I just want to, this one looks, if you're a Democrat, this one looks right.
Pennsylvania.
Yeah, it looks right, if you will. If you look, when we get more from Wayne County, it has to be overwhelming.
That's what you're framing
or else she's in trouble. I mean, she's in trouble at the moment in Michigan. The only way to solve her trouble is to have an overwhelming surge when we get more votes out of Wayne County. That is a crack in the blue wall. If that stays, I want to keep emphasizing if, because the Clinton campaign says they can make it up here. When you're at 84%, that's when you start to get a little bit skeptical that the math is there. But she's running out of options. It has to come from here, it has to come from there, and then a small smattering, because they're tug-of-war, Wisconsin, tug-of-war, Michigan. We knew Florida and North Carolina would be tug-of-wars. This is most unexpected.
It certainly is a huge, huge surprise to so many people out there. All right, and CNN projects Hillary Clinton will carry the state of California with its 55.
That's my former state. I'm ashamed to say so. Well, no, it was actually great growing up. It's turned into a crap hole, and I'm glad that I'm out.
Electoral votes. She will also carry Hawaii with its 4 electoral votes. Donald Trump will win in Idaho with its 4 electoral votes. Hillary Clinton has now gone ahead. She has now gone ahead with the huge win in California. She has 190 electoral votes to Donald Trump's 171 electoral votes. Hillary Clinton is now ahead in the all-important Electoral College map count. Are they breathing a little bit easier over there at Clinton headquarters?
Negative.
I don't think so, to be completely honest, because at some point, we're going to approach the period where it's a question of, does she have a path to the presidency? If she can't win Pennsylvania, New Hampshire, and Michigan, much less Wisconsin, Brooklyn, we have a problem.
Yeah, she's got to win those states.
Note, I'm just looking at a note from...
Isn't it Houston we have a problem? Brooklyn. Oh, goodness gracious.
Saying that they are breathing a slight sigh of relief because of Colorado and Virginia. They do have to hold the upper Midwest, Wisconsin and Michigan, which, as you said, who knew, particularly Wisconsin, it was going to be this tight.
The Republicans didn't even think they were going to win Wisconsin a few days ago.
As I said, Donald Trump had been going there, much to the chagrin of others. Look at this picture. This is something that I think is quite poignant at this hour. 2 hours ago at 8:55 p.m. Eastern, the Clinton team tweeted this out. It says, "This team has so much to be proud of. Whatever happens tonight, thank you for everything." And this picture of Hillary Clinton embracing this young girl, you know, if she pulls this out, this is a picture that says, "I did it for you." If she doesn't, it's a picture that says, "I'm so sorry I tried." And it's so poignant that they sent this out 2 hours ago.
Sorry.
It can be read two very different ways.
One of the things we saw in the exit polls was that women were not voting for Hillary Clinton in the numbers that polls suggested they would. She was not
because they all recognize her as a biatch.
Getting the gender gap that so many anticipated. But let's talk about the response of world markets, because those are some other individuals who are having trouble breathing right now. So there's a lot more uncertainty in the world right now.
Lots of uncertainty in the world. The world was watching. I think most of the world thought that Hillary Clinton had it locked up. Not so fast. All right, right now it's all about Michigan and Wisconsin. Right now, let's update you in Michigan first. For almost half of the vote is now in. Donald Trump still has a lead. And in Wisconsin, 58% of the vote is in. Trump has a lead there, almost 60,000 votes.
She's way short where we are right now. So the question is, can she get here? Baby. Can she get here as we get there? As we pull this back out, we're up to 49% of the vote now, and 48, 46. Is it doable? Is the math doable? Yes. And again, Wolf, we're consistently seeing this. She is underperforming in the Democratic base areas.
CNN now projects that Donald Trump will carry the state of North Carolina with its 15 electoral votes. Another important win for Donald Trump in the state of North Carolina. But Jake, this is a huge win for Donald Trump in North Carolina.
It's big. Robbie Mook, the Clinton campaign manager, was saying that North Carolina was so tight it was going to be down to the wire. It might not even be called tonight. Well, it's 11:09 and we just called it. That says to me that their projections were off and their voter data file was wrong. And people came out to vote and vote for Donald Trump that they didn't think were going to.
He has really boosted
Subscribe to the channel if you like
the white
that
vote,
result.
particularly among white working class voters.
To Michigan and Wisconsin, these two states potentially could make the difference who's going to be the next president of the United States.
And at the moment, they're leaning in favor of Donald Trump. We got some more votes to count. 60% in Wisconsin, 49 to 46. You start to look at that lead. That's 3-point lead. That's a healthy lead because we're waiting for this to come in. And so we're waiting. And so here's even Mitt Romney with his running mate, Paul Ryan from Wisconsin. Couldn't win it 4 years ago, right? But look at all this blue. Just look at all the blue. And that's 4 years ago. And look at all that red. That's small town America, that's blue collar America, and right now Donald Trump is winning. It's relatively close. There are people in the Trump war room who think they can still pull out Pennsylvania. Let me show you why. Number one, I'll show you something else. This is Scranton, Pennsylvania, Joe Biden's hometown, Lackawanna County. President Obama got 63% with Joe Biden on the ticket. The scrappy kid from Scranton, right? 63%?
Scrappy kid.
50%. Donald Trump's getting...
And 100% of the vote is in.
100% of the vote is in, and Donald Trump is getting 47% in this part of the state. Because of this, because the rest of this state is so Republican, in the places that are Democratic, the Democrats have to run it up, and she's not running it up. We'll see. We still have to count the votes. But as we focus on what is the emergency in the Clinton campaign right now, which is Michigan and Wisconsin, let's keep an eye on Pennsylvania as the late votes come in.
And CNN projects Hillary Clinton will carry the state of Oregon with its 7 electoral votes. Now, Hillary Clinton's still ahead. She has 197 electoral votes to Donald Trump's 187 electoral votes.
And so far, he's racking up almost all the states he needs. I mean, the path for Hillary Clinton to win is still there. But it's problematic. She still needs Pennsylvania, she still needs New Hampshire, and she still needs Michigan. But even with those states, we still have the question of Wisconsin and what's going to happen with Wisconsin. They are now subtracting votes that were given to her automatically in all of the Electoral College projections. Nobody anticipated, including, as we were just talking about, Republicans, including the Trump campaign.
And she never stepped foot in the state of Wisconsin since winning the Democratic nomination. That's how confident they were in the state of Wisconsin.
They got their just desserts. Meow.
I mean, come on. We're talking about Wisconsin and Michigan right now. The other interesting point is that those are two states that Hillary Clinton did not win in the Democratic primaries.
Right.
So it appears that not only is Donald Trump's support strong, but her Democratic base didn't entirely come home.
Take a look at Michigan right now. Donald Trump's lead has just dropped right now. What is it, about 25,000 votes that he's ahead of Hillary Clinton right now. So it's narrowing a bit.
Right.
She could still
Which is what the
absolutely,
Clinton
she
people
could
are
still
looking at.
absolutely, she could still absolutely pull out a victory and still end up being the next president of the United States. But Hillary Clinton wins tonight, which seems less probable by the hour. Even if she wins, there is going to be a real argument that Democrats have ignored working class, white working class voters for too long.
Which is
Michael Moore, the progressive filmmaker, was on my show about a week ago from Michigan. And he was terrified. And I said, well, what about the polls that show her up in Michigan and Wisconsin? He said, I don't believe any of these Rust Belt polls. I don't think they know how to poll the Rust Belt. Remember what happened in the primaries. And what happened in the primaries is that Hillary Clinton was projected to win the Michigan primary, and Bernie Sanders won.
And not surprisingly, because it's the home
His lead has
state
just
of-
been cut down to 14,000. It's getting closer and closer.
Oh, wow.
Take a look at that. So it's still a race. It's still very much of a race.
Yeah, she needs to win Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, and New Hampshire. It's still possible. It's just much closer than anyone thought it was going to be.
Yeah, but what I was, and my point in
All right.
there was that there's a ground game that Republicans have built even before there was any nominee, and it seems to become
Cliffhangers in Michigan and Wisconsin. These two states could decide who's going to be the next president of the United States. We'll be right back. Key race alert. Let's check in all the key battleground states. Cliffhanger going on
Subscribe
here in
to the
Michigan
channel, guys.
right now. 56% of the vote is in. Look at how close it is. Donald Trump has a lead of 13,000. In Wisconsin, 65% of the vote is in. Donald Trump has a little bit better of a lead, 66,000 votes ahead of Hillary.
And what we were told from the Clinton campaign war room and Democratic labor activists on the ground say that most of these votes are in here, and they expect when they do come, they're going to be overwhelmingly for Hillary Clinton. Does that mean it's enough? We'll wait till they come in to do the math. But she has closed significantly in the state of Michigan, in fact, statewide now. So they are saying that they believe it is still mathematically possible. We'll believe it when we see it, but that is what they say, and we still have votes to count. If I don't know that I trust their numbers, I'll let them spin their own numbers. But if you look at it,
That might be the strongest condemnation of the Democrats that CNN has ever uttered.
yes, that's conceivable. But they need to perform at near perfect levels with the remaining votes to make that up. As we have, shall we say, a cliffhanger, to say the least.
All right, we have another major projection right now. Take a look
Trump
at this.
wins Florida.
And CNN
Florida
projects
man.
Donald Trump will carry the state of Florida. With its 29 electoral votes, Donald Trump wins Florida. A huge win for Donald Trump. That's his second home. You see, Donald Trump has taken the lead. He has 216 electoral votes compared to Hillary Clinton's 197 electoral votes. A lot of people didn't think that Donald Trump would be able to do it. He did it in Florida.
He did. A huge prize, 29 electoral votes, where his second home is at Mar-a-Lago. And let us also just point out, when you were doing the map with John just a second ago, you were very close to having a 269 to 269 tie. That is entirely possible. It is not crazy at all. And we should point out, this is not over for Hillary Clinton or for Donald Trump. This is, as John said, this is a cliffhanger. We really have no idea what's going to happen here. I haven't seen a race this close since Al Gore and George W. Bush in 2000. It really could theoretically come down to one state or even one congressional district.
Speaking of 2000, I think we should take a moment and talk about Florida. Because, as you said, it was something that Donald Trump said he was going to win, said he needed to win. It looks like he obviously...
And he did win it.
We projected that he has won it. And it just shows that there are big questions as to who this electorate is.
Yeah. And I mean, I think it's fair to say that all these states are much closer than anybody anticipated.
Let's take a
This has always been the challenge for Donald Trump. Can you flip a big blue? And so, Wolf, we have Michigan, Wisconsin, New Hampshire still counting, and some others. We got a ways to go.
And CNN projects that Hillary Clinton will carry the state of Washington. Washington State and its 12 electoral votes. Donald Trump still is ahead. He has 216 electoral votes. Hillary Clinton has 209 electorals. Very close, 216, 209. You need.
Every time I pull back to the national map, I'm looking to see if one of these flips, because that is the story of the night. This tug-of-war we are in, this cliffhanger we are in, will be decided by whether or not one or both of these flips back to blue as we get closer in the count. 2 Rust Belt states, Wolf, they're going to keep us up late. Very competitive.
We have another projection to make right now, an important projection. And CNN now projects that Donald Trump will carry the state of Georgia with its 16 electoral votes. Donald Trump wins Georgia. Donald Trump carries that important state. So let's take a look at where the Electoral College map stands right now. With the win in Georgia, Donald Trump is ahead. He moves closer to 270. He's got 232 electoral votes to Hillary Clinton's 209.
Talked about this being a historic night early on, and it is certainly turning out to be that in a lot of different ways. David Axelrod, what did everybody get wrong? I mean, the polls were just wrong.
Just the numbers.
Subscribe.
Now, look, what is clear is there was a hunger for change among a lot of Americans, and those who felt strongly about, those who were angered and disenchanted with government, overwhelmingly were supporting Donald Trump, notwithstanding the fact that 2/3 of them said that they didn't think that he had the temperament or the qualifications for it. This was a primal scream on the part of a lot of voters.
Just wait till 2024 when, after Joe Biden completely destroys or tries to destroy the nation with his progressive guard, who is basically in charge of the White House because he's out there licking an ice cream cone, setting in the sun of dementia.
Who are disenchanted with the status quo, and we don't know how this is going to turn out. So I'm not trying to impute things here that I don't want to, but you look at these rural areas in all these states, in county after county, he is outperforming Mitt Romney dramatically, and she's underperforming President Obama dramatically.
And I mean, you know, in every interview with Kellyanne Conway, she talked about sort of hidden Trump voters.
Right.
A lot of Trump supporters were saying that. We certainly, it seems like they were right all along.
That tonight.
But Michael Smirkanish, I mean, the Democrats thought with all the star power of their surrogates, with the high popularity of President Obama and President Obama out there on the stump, and Michelle Obama clearly did not do what they had hoped it would.
It's not only that it didn't do what they hoped it would do, but I can't help but sit here tonight and wonder if it didn't boomerang and have the complete opposite impact, because it reinforced who really represented the establishment in a year where you didn't.
Right, which is something Jeffrey Lord talked about even last night during that big star-studded event with all of them on the stage.
Is that it's very little about party tonight. It's much more about class. It's much more about income. It's much more about what separates us beyond our party affiliation. I think David's onto something when he talks about the rural versus urban and suburban divide.
Well, right, if change was what you wanted as a voter, I mean, it's clearly they were going for Donald Trump.
And that trumped everything.
He was a very, very bright, incisive vehicle for their frustrations about the status quo. And, you know, our friends over here have been talking about this for some time, and you can see the manifestation of it. We don't know how the story ends tonight, but this is clearly not the race people expect.
Well,
Michigan is
it's going to be a wonderful bedtime story for
62% of the
America.
vote is in, and Donald Trump still maintains a lead of nearly 32,000. Mostly Wisconsin, 73% of the vote is now in. Donald Trump has a bigger lead there. He's up almost 90,000 votes. Of Pennsylvania, 85% of the vote is in. Hillary Clinton is ahead by 40,000 votes. So, Brianna, update us on what's going on over there.
Wolf, the scene here is so different than it was a few hours ago when people were happy and relaxed. I have been looking around the room at people who are stone-faced. Some of them have been crying. We have seen people leaving the venue, including some who have been sitting on the risers behind the podium where Hillary Clinton is supposed to speak. There are people who are just in shock. I've seen mouths open as folks here in the audience are watching the results come in, many of them with their arms crossed and a hand to their mouth. They are just stunned as they watch what is going on here. It's just been a complete reversal from what we saw a few hours ago. And what they are watching is various networks, as we're seeing these calls being made for different states. They've been monitoring, a lot of them, their iPhones, seeing certainly the projections for what is going to happen. And they are just stunned at the idea that they were completely sure they were coming to this event for what they thought would be even an early night to celebrate Hillary Clinton becoming the first female president. And now they are confronting the reality that they could be walking out of here either not knowing, but perhaps expecting that Donald Trump is going to become president. I mean, you're seeing it here on these faces. They are just stunned. People who were talking and laughing before are standing there not talking to the folks that they came with.
It's not over with yet. Let's see what happens in the votes, but I clearly understand the sadness that's going on over there. Jim, what's the mood over there?
You understand the sadness because you're sad yourself. Because you are partisan hacks that are cheering on the blue team. You are on the blue team. You are blue team shills, which is why you're sad. But don't worry, over the next 4 years, your ratings are going to go up dramatically because you're going to become virulently anti-Trump and anti-America.
Well, the mood is the exact opposite of what Breonna Keeler just passed on a few moments ago. It is not over yet, you're right, Wolf, but it is starting to feel like a victory party here at Trump campaign headquarters. I can tell you that behind me, we're seeing a sea of red. Those are those red Make America Great Again hats. They're being passed out to all the supporters in the room here. Wolf, I will tell you that they started all sorts of chants. USA, USA, President Trump, drain the swamp. But Wolf, one fairly disturbing chant broke out in this room, and that was lock her up. They were starting to chant lock her up. Of course, that is a chant referring to Hillary Clinton, her email investigation.
And if you take a look, they did everything that they could to try to lock Donald Trump up. They tried to frame him for felonies that were at best expired misdemeanors in New York. They threw the judicial book at him. The DOJ conspired with Fulton County, and Trump graciously allowed Hillary Clinton to skate because he wanted to unify the America. You take a look at who the evildoers are and why I have such antipathy towards the blue team and the Democrat Party. That's why.
That the FBI says just recently they basically wrapped up. It's a common thing that we hear at those political rallies. You talk to people inside the Trump campaign, they're using words like "we're dying," "we're freaking out." They are just over the moon tonight with these results. I think they've surprised themselves. Earlier today, I heard from a top official who said that it'll take a miracle for us to win. I got a text from somebody saying, "Do you believe in miracles?" Wolf.
It's a very different mood at both.
Yeah, her path is getting narrower and narrower, and he has many more options on the board in complete contradiction to everything we've been saying up until
At least
today.
you can admit it.
So if this holds, we don't know if it will. This will be the biggest loss since the day after, since the day that the trading resumed after 9/11. So this is a day that the markets.
You know who actually made money? People from Morgan Stanley, for example, who knew that Trump would be pro-industry, pro-business, unlike the Democrats that try to regulate businesses out of existence in favor of China, which then picks up that industry, whatever you want to call it, and they actually made money. It's kind of crazy to me that the markets were down, but they hate uncertainty, and the expectations did not come in, and that provided a buying opportunity for the smart money, not the dumb money.
Are not particularly enjoying, unsure about the future of the U.S., unsure about the trade deals and the economy of the U.S.
That's what said, Dana. It's still not over with yet. Let's not say it's over. You need 270. Neither of these candidates has it, and we're watching Wisconsin
Hillary
and Michigan and a bunch of other
sure.
states very closely.
Very, very closely. I am getting texts from Democrats who have been working for months, even over a year for Hillary Clinton, though more and more pessimistic as they see the results coming in from Wisconsin for a lot of finger pointing back at the FBI director for the October surprise, saying that
For the October surprise, once again, what Hillary Clinton did was criminal. They tried, as I just mentioned, to put Donald Trump in for a bookkeeping that I think is completely legitimate, but they might have deemed an error that was at best an expired misdemeanor that they turned into 34 felony counts. The FBI, as we now know, just tried to make it look like they were looking into Hillary, and they completely let her skate on something that anybody in the Trump campaign would have been literally crucified for.
That the investigation was sort of kind of reopened into the email situation and then closing it back up. However, it's hard to imagine that this kind of almost wave was because of the FBI director. I mean,
there's no doubt that there's a deep anger, and our early exit polls showed it. There's a deep anger in this country right now at the political establishment.
A lot of anger at Washington, D.C., a lot of anger at institutions, and that was a big part of Donald Trump's campaign.
He stunned the world by getting the Republican presidential nomination, and now look what's going on right now, John. All of a sudden, Wisconsin and Michigan, the two battleground states that potentially could determine the next president.
If they keep going the way they're going, that Sanders-Warren primary may start tomorrow. Wisconsin, again, this is not the way this was mapped out.
Trump is ahead by 85,000 votes.
85,000 votes. You're up to 77% of the vote counted. The question
now it's 89,000 votes.
Can she make it up? And so here's what we're told. So is there potentially a large swath of Democratic votes coming out of Milwaukee County? We're told to expect them around the bottom of the hour. Yeah.
Remember in 2020 when from Milwaukee County, like they got batches of votes, like 8,000 votes were 100 or 95% of them were for Joe Biden. I wonder whether or not that was legit or not. I'm definitely questioning it today.
And so you hold out the math, and you're going to be hyper cautious here for a good reason. And so if they're correct and they're about to get a very large, substantial amount of votes out of Milwaukee in 30 minutes or so, there's more votes here for them. That's why you wait and you see. However, that's fine. We'll see what that math comes in. But so you have to say advantage Trump as we go to the wire here. The Clinton campaign is telling us they believe in Milwaukee County, Dane County, a few other places, they can make up these votes. Other Democrats who have experience in these states who are helping the Clinton campaign but not on the payroll for the Clinton campaign are voicing a lot more skepticism. But we'll count them as we go. Close.
You know, I want to quickly go to Pennsylvania because Donald Trump has just moved ahead of Hillary Clinton in the state of Pennsylvania right now. Let's take a look at the
YMCA.
Actual vote. You see it right there. It's about, 7,000 votes. All of a sudden, Trump is ahead of Hillary Clinton in Pennsylvania with 90% of the vote in.
And the Trump number has gone up. And so yet again, we're asking the same question in another state that has been blue for most of our adult lifetimes. Can she get it back? Well, this is a plus sign for Hillary Clinton, if you will. If you're the Clinton campaign, you're alarmed. Donald Trump is leading you in Michigan and Wisconsin. He just passed you in Pennsylvania. That is a recipe for a wipeout, and a surprising wipeout. But there are still some Democratic votes out here, Wolf, and we'll watch if Pennsylvania, like Florida, starts to seesaw a bit.
CNN projects Donald Trump will win the state of Iowa with its 6 electoral votes. With this win in Iowa, Donald Trump expands his lead over Hillary Clinton. He has now 238 electoral votes to her 209 electoral votes. You need Iowa all of a sudden is going to Donald Trump. But remember, that was not all that unexpected. It's Wisconsin and Michigan that are very unexpected.
Not all that unexpected, but to the point we've been having all night. Are we rewriting America's electoral college map tonight? Is this a one-race rewriting of the map? We won't know the answer for some time, but significant that as President Obama prepares to move out of the White House, the state that launched his political career just voted for Donald Trump. Once a cheerleader for the birther movement, now the Republican nominee for president, and on the verge of being the president-elect of the United States if trend line continues. So you go back to where we were just a minute ago, because Pennsylvania now has joined Wisconsin and Michigan on the watch list for Democrats, on the emergency room list for Democrats. You see that lead right there.
11,000 votes.
And again, as you go through all this, it is stunning when you see what is happening in large Luzerne County. It's a small county. It's not, it's not a huge population center. 58, 59% there for Donald Trump. The president won this with 52%. You're finding these counties all across the country, even in states Clinton is winning. We're not done here. When you come back to 2016, we're not done. And so there's still a chance for Clinton to come back here. But this is one of them. Donald Trump leads at the moment. This is one of them. Donald Trump leads at the moment. This is one of them. Donald Trump leads at the moment. And so the Democrats are having a conversation. The Democrats have been celebrating for years, since all during the Obama presidency, their ability to win in these Sun Belt states, to change states like Nevada, to change states like Colorado, to change states like Virginia. They've been celebrating that for 8 years. Well, they're having headaches tonight.
And take a look at this, Judge. On the national vote, right. Donald Trump is ahead nationally by more than 1 million votes.
But Donald Trump is running it up. You could look at the national vote. You could look at these key Democratic states.
All right, John, stand by. It's a cliffhanger in Michigan, a cliffhanger in Wisconsin. We're watching all of this very closely. We'll be in Michigan. Michigan, 70% of the vote is in. Donald Trump maintains his lead. He's got a lead of 23,000 plus votes. In Wisconsin, 78% of the vote is in. He's got a better lead there, 92,000 vote lead. in Pennsylvania, 92% of the vote is in. Look at how close it is, 48.2% to 48.2%. Hillary Clinton is down, though. Donald Trump is ahead by 2,800 votes, more than.
And he did it exactly, he's doing it exactly the way that Donald Trump and his team said they were going to, which is he's redrawing the map. He's taking the states that the Republicans traditionally pursue, North Carolina, Florida, Ohio, and giving her a run for her money in Pennsylvania. And also, on top of that, going after the Rust Belt states where there are all these voters who are convinced that trade has been horrible for their communities. And whether they liked the offensive things Donald Trump said or they didn't care about the things that Donald Trump said, they are with him when it comes to draining the swamp.
Has been talking about the hidden Trump vote, that it's out there, that people don't feel comfortable telling their pollsters, never mind.
Right, because you demonized anybody that would support Donald Trump. You said, how dare you, how dare you, how dare you? And that is pervasive. That invades the American mind. Because people like you, Dana,
to friends and
who I hold
family
contempt for,
that they're going to vote for Donald Trump. Well, just based on the data that we saw going into tonight, both the polling and some of the modeling, particularly the Democrats modeling, she was right.
Yeah, that there was a hidden Trump vote. No, but there are obviously millions of Americans who voted for Barack Obama in 2012 and voted for Donald Trump today, which is a fascinating thing given that Donald Trump is running as the anti-Obama in almost every possible way.
He's ahead of the popular vote nationwide.
That's right. That's true. And they just are so sick of this place where we are, Washington, D.C. It doesn't work. They're not wrong. It doesn't work for them. They're especially not wrong. And you know what? Donald Trump, with all of his, flaws, every candidate has flaws. He's not one of them, and he can do things differently. Now, Michigan too.
It's just remarkable because, I mean, I don't think we can overstate this. Not only Democrats and the Clinton campaign, not only pollsters and the mainstream media, but Republicans did not anticipate that this night was going to be this way. Very, very few people, I'm sure Donald Trump and his immediate circle of family and friends thought this, but very, very few people who were actually running these races anticipated that this night was going to be so strong for Donald Trump.
At least in making it so close, and it is a real cliffhanger right now in the last. It's an amazing story right now. Whatever happens, it is, Dana, a truly amazing story.
And again, we've been at 83% roughly for a long time in Wayne County. This is the last best hope of the Clinton campaign, is that when the rest of Detroit comes in, it's a big, giant dump of Democratic votes. But when you see
that Democratic vote dump, we'll have to wait for mail-in ballots that became legal in the year 2020. No doubt there was zero fraud during that. Zero fraud. Don't believe anybody that tells you that there was fraud during the 2020 election.
This lead is starting to stretch a little bit as we're up to 81% now. And again, we were told this would come right around now. We were told this would come at the bottom of the hour at 12:30 in the East, 11:30 local time. 60,000 absentee ballots in Milwaukee County. When these votes come, and the main thing you could do right now is just sit back and watch those three. Pennsylvania, Michigan,
Well, let's go to
Wisconsin.
Pennsylvania
If
right now.
They stay red, forget about it.
Trump's got
Forget about
But
it.
again,
It's a
this is
fugazi.
just a fundamental
Fugazi.
rewriting of the map, Wolf. In our lifetime, Pennsylvania has been a Democratic state. Georgia, and this is just stunning. It is stunning, and this is the most stunning. Again, a lot of people laughed at the Trump campaign when they said our path to the presidency was the Rust Belt, thinking that 1988, even longer than that. They made a run in Minnesota. Minnesota's going to hold for the Democrats, but a lot of people laughed at them. A lot of people even think, with the dysfunction, as Dana noted earlier, the governor of Ohio not on your side. 52% of the vote.
He needed to win Ohio. He won Ohio.
52% of the vote. He won Ohio. Now we're going, and we are in exactly the opposite position that we thought a couple of weeks ago we were going to be in. We thought at Trump campaign headquarters they would be sitting there trying to draw to an inside straight, trying to literally lightning strike it. We're talking about Powerball odds. Donald Trump, Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin. Well, look at that. Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin. We're not done yet.
DJT won the Powerball. That's how he got his billions of dollars.
CNN now projects that Hillary Clinton will carry the state of Nevada. with its 6 electoral votes. Hillary carries Nevada. Take a look at the count for the Electoral College map right now. Trump has 238 votes. Hillary Clinton has 215. Michigan with its 16 electoral votes. Donald Trump continuing to maintain his lead of almost 34,000 votes. And in Wisconsin, 83% of the vote is in. He's got a better lead there, 86,000 votes. Oh, Pennsylvania, 93% of the vote is in. And Trump has a lead of more than 25,000 votes.
People out there in the country tonight who still have that belief about Donald Trump, Van.
Well, look, first of all, congratulations. Both of you guys were...
We're not there yet.
Well, you're further than anybody said you would be. And I have enough class, and I was raised well enough to say, when you outdo...
Yes, sir. Thank you.
When you outdo expectations, good for you. But there's another side to this.
Is he going to cry?
People have talked about a miracle.
He's going to cry.
I'm hearing about a nightmare. It's hard to be a parent tonight for a lot of us. You tell your kids, don't be a bully. You tell your kids, don't be a bigot. You tell your kids, do your...
The Democrat Party is nothing but bigots. That's all they are. They've been bigots since the 1800s, till today.
Homework and be prepared. And then you have this outcome, and you have people putting children to bed tonight, and they're afraid of breakfast.
What are you serving them for breakfast? Snails? Escargot? Dead snake with it still writhing around? Why would they be afraid of breakfast?
They're afraid of, how do I explain this to my children? I have Muslim friends who are texting me tonight saying, should I leave the country? I have families of immigrants that are terrified tonight. This was many things. This was a rebellion against the elites. True, it was a complete reinvention of politics and polls. It's true, but it was also something else. We've talked about race. I mean, we've talked about everything but race tonight.
It just proves that America's racist, right, Van?
We've talked about income. We've talked about class. We've talked about region. We haven't talked about race. This was a white lash. This was a white lash against a changing country. It was a white lash against a black president in part. And that's the...
No, it's a lash against the policies that were enacted that destroyed our nation, that turned it from a racially accepting nation into Black Lives Matter, destroying Ferguson, Missouri, and the whole Trayvon Martin debacle, where they did everything that they could to frame Trayvon as an innocent, Mr. Great little kid. No, it doesn't work that way. I'm tired of the racial politics. I really, really am today. And I was back then too, which is what moved me away from the Democrats.
Part where the pain comes. And Donald Trump has a responsibility tonight to come out and reassure people that he is going to be the president of all the people who he insulted and offended and brushed aside. Yeah.
You guys live to be insulted. You live to be the victim. That's all you want, is to feel insulted, because it gives you temporary power of being able to lash out in anger. Because Democrats produce zero. They want to live off of the state. They want to turn to socialists, and they want to deprive those people that are enhancing America, that are creating new products, that are out there creating businesses and employing people. They want to make it as difficult for them as possible.
When you say, you want to take your country back, you got a lot of people who feel that we're not represented well either. But we don't want to feel that someone has been elected by throwing away some of us to appeal more deeply to others. So this is a deeply painful moment tonight. I know
that's all that Barack Obama did. When he started to go down in the polls, he just turned everything into racial politics. That's what the Democrats have been doing forever. So don't tell me that. Don't put that on the feet of Donald Trump when this is the Democrat playbook. It's confession via projection.
No, it's not just about race. There's more going on than that. But race is here too. We got to talk about it.
Well, and whoever wins tonight, I mean, there is such polarization in this country. Whoever wins is going to have a very hard time in convincing the other half of the country that they can be their president as well.
That's what I thought I knew yesterday, that I had no idea how deep the divisions are, how real the pain is. And let me say, echoing Van, Kayleigh and Jeffrey were right about that. You saw it in a way that I didn't see it in the data, and you deserve to have credit for that. And maybe Hillary hangs on and wins, maybe Mr. Trump wins. We still don't know. It's really in the balance.
Right.
But irrespective, the pain, and Van just gave beautiful poetic voice to the pain on our side. But
he
Donald
cried.
Trump was giving
He
voice
whined.
to some really spectacular pain on his side. And that's, I think, what's causing this. When Jeb Bush, who you mentioned, got trounced by Trump, he said, I don't do anger very well. Well, this is a time of anger. Of course, that anger comes from pain. And Trump saw that, and
Donald
he gave voice to it.
took his message to them and said, I feel your pain, and I'm going to be there.
Listen, we're gonna have to hold hands. This is gonna be tough.
Crying, Van.
We'll have to look and see if those people heard it the way you heard it, and if they voted for him. But you do yourself a disservice, and I don't want either of you to be naive. There are people in your party for whom this was also a vote against political correctness, which for some of them means a vote against these others. And we're going to need your help to heal that. And if I can't acknowledge the elitism in my party, and you can't acknowledge some of the bigotry in your party, we're never going to get there.
Donald Trump's going to be a voice for all the people. He said that from day one.
He will make it his first objective to bring people together. I have not the slightest doubt about it. I mean, he's said it, but I certainly believe him. I mean, I've seen that in him all along.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I said.
Really big going on.
Right.
And it's been, there is an earthquake going on, and they're saying, well, it's a washing machine.
Right.
No,
so you
no, it's
combine
plate
it-
tectonic.
So you combine it with the race.
If you look at it there, she didn't make up that many votes. We were looking for a huge basket of votes out of here for her to make it up. When you come back out and add that into the state total, it is nowhere near what she needed. Nowhere, and that's at 99.5% now. It's not even close. It'll make up some of that gap, but nowhere near. So the question then is, are there other Democratic votes out there somewhere? The main point is the math here, and it's just not enough. She makes up in the vote count, she gains a little bit, but when you bring it out and you try to add it into that, it's.
We'll see what happens in Madison. That's a liberal Democratic stronghold in Wisconsin. Let's take a look at Michigan.
Move over to Michigan, still at 77% here, and it's a close race. And we're in the same calculation we've been in before. Again, when you talk to the Clinton War Room, they tell us, just relax. We're going to see some votes come out of here. We're still, and this is close. This one is closer than the race in Wisconsin.
57,000 votes.
Right, closer than. So you look over here. Is it doable? Okay, but let's see them. These leads for Donald Trump, they're relatively small, but they have been persistent and they have held. And Wolf, if you're looking at this map and you're thinking, where can I squeeze some more Democratic votes to make that up? My answer is, I don't know. I don't see it.
Anderson, it's really a remarkable development, a historic development. What's unfolding right now, it's not over yet. We're watching every state, every electoral vote.
Without a doubt, probably one of the most momentous nights in American political history, certainly modern American political history. I mean,
well, what we're not talking about is how many offices Donald Trump has in the state of Florida. I guess it's not relevant anymore. What we are talking about is, why did the electorate do what they did tonight? And I think what we have said from day one is that Donald Trump represents a fundamental change to Washington, D.C. And for 30 years, elected officials, both Republicans and Democrats, have made promises that they haven't kept.
Because I don't know if I get a chance to talk again. There are people around the world who are watching.
Keep whining and crying. Keep telling us about the underrepresented and the whiny voices out there that you represent.
They are appalled, they are shocked, they are surprised.
Subscribe.
The markets are showing it, and there's some people who are laughing, and some of them are in the Kremlin. This is not just the first election in which you had a woman running and a business person running. This is the first election in which an enemy power deliberately and explicitly interfered in our election and got away with it. And they
got away with it. This is the presupposition that it even happened. Again, this is the Russiagate nonsense that's been spewed all over CNN, all over the mainstream media forever, because Donald Trump is interfering with their little gigantic honeypot of taxpayer money that they distribute amongst themselves. And Donald Trump is a threat to that. That's why they're framing Donald Trump. And Van Jones is their little mouthpiece spewing that propaganda outwards.
interfered in our election in a one-sided way. They didn't hack Democrats. They didn't hack Republicans. They hacked Democrats. And we're going to have to figure out now, what is our relationship to Russia going forward? And if Russia got away with it this time, what if the Chinese do it to the Republicans next time? We are now living in a completely different context from a national security point of view. That needs to be talked about.
Jeffrey, assuming Donald Trump becomes the president.
That may well be, but I would point out, first off, the election's not over. There's
Right,
still
well,
several
right,
states,
right.
in play.
Exactly.
And it seems to me, just back of the envelope math, highly likely that Hillary Clinton wins the popular vote, irrespective of even
because of California.
And if Mr. Trump can pull off this Rust Belt states, only 24% of the vote in California is in. She's likely to win that overwhelmingly. That this country is deeply, deeply divided.
Yep.
It is
Agree with
deeper
that.
and more painful than ever. And yes, we'll have this on trade, we'll have this about Russia, but more fundamentally, the pain here is so spectacular that it's going to take a real
We've
miracle.
got another projection from Wolf.
All right, Donald Trump, we project, will be the winner in the state of Utah. With its 6 electoral votes, Donald Trump carries another state. You see, it's Donald Trump doing very, very well tonight. It's 270, though. That's the magic number. Let's take a start with Michigan right now. 80% of the vote is now in. Trump has an impressive lead of 77,000 plus votes. Over in Wisconsin, 87% of the vote is in. Similarly, he has an impressive 84,000 vote lead in Pennsylvania. Look at this. 97% of the vote is in. Trump is ahead by almost 51,000 votes over Hillary Clinton. There are 20 electoral votes at stake in Pennsylvania. Trump doing very well in Pennsylvania right now. Let's take over to Jake and Dana. The numbers clearly right now, Jake, are in Donald Trump's favor.
Absolutely. Hillary Clinton needs to win Michigan. She needs to win New Hampshire. She needs to win Pennsylvania. Right now, she's only ahead in one of those states with almost all of the vote in. It's really stunning. And Van,
the Trump campaign, what are you hearing?
Well, a little bit of news that I'm told that Donald Trump and his campaign did prepare 2 speeches, as we were told earlier by our Clinton team, that Hillary Clinton did, a victory speech and a concession speech, and he is preparing and hoping to give that victory speech. So what will be in it? I'm told that he will be gracious, that he will to speak to what Van was talking about before, and also Michael and others about the tone of these speeches being so important. We'll talk about coming together. We'll reach out to those who didn't vote for him. So that is the tone that I'm told he will set in this speech.
whoever wins this evening, there is a huge responsibility for that man or that woman to reach out not only to the people who voted for his or her opponent, but to the people who don't like him or her. If Donald Trump wins, I think there is going to be, in addition to his celebration and the victory lap that he has every right to take, there are people who were really bothered by things like when he made fun of that disabled reporter. And he really has an obligation, especially if he wants to be a success.
Again, this is the way that they're framing it, that he made fun of a disabled reporter. That is not accurate. This is the way that he talks all the time, is what I've been made to understand, the hand gestures, and he does that with other people. So it wasn't making fun of the disabled reporter, but once again, CNN is framing that for the people at home who don't have the time to research that he's making fun of disabled reporters, that he called neo-Nazis and white nationalists very fine people when he did the exact opposite.
And you had people, and I'm not talking about the neo-Nazis and the white nationalists, because they should be condemned totally.
This is the framing that I have a huge problem with, that is absolutely, utterly deceptive and dishonest. And this is why I say that CNN divides America.
Successful president,
and the mainstream media.
I know he wants to be a successful anything that he tries to do. He wants to succeed at. There is an opportunity now for the country to heal, for the country to come together, whether Hillary Clinton wins or Donald Trump wins. And I really hope that the victor does actually take that opportunity to try to unite the country after this extremely brutal election.
The onus is also on the person who doesn't win.
Absolutely.
To do that.
Absolutely.
And you know, we remember in 2000.
And just remember the fact that Hillary Clinton repeatedly called Donald Trump an illegitimate president throughout his presidency and did everything that she could to frame Donald Trump for Russian collusion.
2008, John McCain's concession speech was probably one of the best speeches he ever gave in his life, because it was so gracious in telling the people who supported him to please support the next president.
Right now, let's start in the key, let's call it the battleground state of Michigan right now. 81% of the vote is in. Trump maintains a pretty good lead. Wisconsin, he's got an 87,000 vote lead over there. In Pennsylvania, Donald Trump maintains his lead.
Yeah, these remaining states up here. But at the moment, 6 states that President Obama carried 4 years ago have flipped. We're not done completely, but including Florida. And at the moment, we're looking at Pennsylvania, Ohio, which is done, Michigan, Wisconsin, Iowa, stunning as you look at it. And so this is what's happening in the Clinton war room. They are desperately going county by county and calling their people and saying, is there anything missing? What's missing? So every now and then a number comes in and then you see it drop. They realize they've missed something. But if you look at this right now, we're going to count them to the end. But this has been, it's a relatively small lead, but it has been a steady, we call it a stubborn lead, in the sense that as more of the votes come in, it's holding up in the state of Wisconsin. And so what are we waiting for? Number one, we're still waiting, and this will be the bulk of what we're missing, is right here in Wayne County. Again, it's a place where Hillary Clinton is winning quite big, but the Milwaukee example told us, the Clinton campaign tells us, just wait, they're going to come. Maybe it will be different here, but it was not in Wisconsin. We waited, Milwaukee came in, it gave them a boost, but nowhere near what they needed. They need a miracle here out of Wayne County to make up some big numbers, translate when you get back out here, and make up some, but it doesn't look big enough. And that is the issue now as you go through these states. Oakland County's at 99%. You pop down, we're still waiting most of all on this Wayne County vote. Again, mathematically impossible? No. You're starting to look here and here, and the word improbable, unlikely, comes into your head. But we'll count them. We'll keep counting them. We've seen strange shifts before. This one switched late. Pennsylvania was coming in blue most of the night. It switched late. It is still a one-point race. It's very close. Inside the Trump campaign, they think they have this. They've been checking around with their people. They think it's done. And you ask the Democrats where the vote's going to come from. There's a little bit left here. There's a little bit left here.
Not much.
Yeah, you're mostly in. This is the biggest, basket of Democratic votes of all. There's a little bit left there. But you look at this again, we'll wait. We'll keep counting. We want to be cautious about this. But again, it's a small lead.
60,000 vote lead.
60,000 in a giant state like Pennsylvania. That's normally, not a huge lead. But again, it has been steady and stubborn and persistent. Her percentages were about what a Democrat needs to do there, but the numbers worked. It's not just your percentage. You got to turn people out, and that's a problem. Is at least 2 out of 3 of these need to change for Hillary Clinton to have a hope. Probably all 3 of them. We still got some business to do out in the western part of the country. Some of these states aren't completely called yet, but the 2 big ones, Pennsylvania and Michigan, if they don't change, math doesn't work.
He's got 244 electoral votes. Right. By our projection, doesn't need all that many more in order to get to 270.
That would get you 64, 74, 80, 280 right there.
Anderson, back to you.
Yes, 280
the polls were all
right
wrong. What does this mean for the whole polling industry? What does this mean for
Hillary
how
supporters.
elections are run
Bye-bye.
in the future? Or is Donald Trump
supporting
such
a horrible person.
Unique candidate because of the force of his personality that it's...
I'd say
Donald Trump is going to be elected president of the United States tonight. That's what is going to happen. It is unequivocal. The numbers are there. He's going to be the president of the United States. Now, what he did and what we did many, many times and was criticized infinitely by the mainstream media was he would have a rally, but this doesn't translate to votes, and the Democrats understand precisely what Mary had for breakfast today, and she had breakfast, and she ate at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. They knocked on her door, and then they called her again. That's not how the American people function. That's not what the American people wanted. So what I think, and the Washington Post has reported this, Bob Costa has said it, he is the greatest raw political talent of a lifetime. The greatest, because he understands people fundamentally.
I was saying all along, as you guys will remember, that this guy was a major threat. I used to call him Trumpzilla. And every Democrat told me I was wrong.
We have another projection right now. CNN now projects that Donald Trump will win the state of Alaska. Alaska
state that produces
has 3
things. Go
electoral
figure.
votes. Donald Trump has moved closer and closer to this magic number of 270 needed to win the White House. He now has 247 votes. Hillary Clinton has 215 votes. He is getting closer and closer to that number of 270. In Michigan, where 84% of the vote is now in, Trump has a nearly 80,000 vote lead. Wisconsin, 89% of the vote is in. Trump also has a pretty impressive lead, 86,000 vote lead. In Pennsylvania,
It's coming down
he is
to the
ahead
wire.
as well, 97% of the vote is in. That's a healthy number. He is ahead by almost 77,000 votes.
But in Nevada, in New Mexico, and in North Carolina, Donald Trump did better with Latino voters than Mitt Romney did. I mean, tell me who had that on their bingo card.
Take that, Ana Navarro. Remember at the beginning of the program when she stated that it was going to be the Latinos that voted against Donald Trump? No wonder you're on The View with all the other stupid people. All you need is dunce hats on your heads to demonstrate the intelligence level that you purvey to the American people on a daily basis.
Yeah, nobody.
And in the general election, Hillary Clinton, her campaign spent so much more money on negative ads against him, yet look at how well he has done today.
and he was giving voice to them.
And Dan, he stuck by his basic message from day one. He said, we're going to build a wall. Mexico's going to pay for it. He still says that. In the past few days, he continues to say that. Michigan right now, 16 electoral votes, 85% of the vote is in. Donald Trump maintains a lead, more than 70,000 vote lead. You just saw it increase right there. Oh, Wisconsin, he's ahead even more impressively. He's got an 85,000 vote lead over Hill. In Pennsylvania, Donald Trump is ahead with 97% of the vote in. He's ahead by almost 75,000 votes. Jeff Zeleny right now, he's joining us from Clinton headquarters over there at the Javits Center in Manhattan. I still see a crowd behind you. What are you hearing over there, Jeff?
Wolf, there is still a crowd behind me here at the Javits Center. As you can see, there's a little bit more activity right now, and they have turned off the election coverage really for the last several hours. This crowd here has been watching our coverage and others.
You know it's going in your favor when you turn off the TV. That's reporting on your event that you're participating in. Wonderful.
Really a somber mood here, but I am told that campaign chairman John Podesta is on his way here to the Javits Center from the Peninsula Hotel where he has been with the Clintons. He is on his way here, Wolf, and he's going to be giving some type of an announcement, a message. I'm told Secretary Clinton is not going to be coming here, at least not now at this moment. The Clinton campaign...
She lost. She knows it. She's getting drunk.
Is still watching this handful of states that remain out there, Wolf, but I can tell you, optimism among all Democrats here, supporters here, has essentially faded. Top advisors across the board, top donors, top strategists, all are recognizing that Hillary Clinton is not likely to be the next president. So John Podesta is coming here to make some kind of a statement. We do not know exactly what that will be, but we will bring that to you when he does it.
Well, it's approaching.
Is there some way for Secretary Clinton to make that up? And I'll tell you, Wolf, this is just, you want to give everybody the benefit of the doubt. You keep going through here, 100% of the votes counted. You move out here to Allegheny County, 98% of the vote is counted. You're looking for places where is it possible there could be some miracle comeback or there's some big pile of votes that we yet to count, And so you're looking at that, and I just can't find them. I mean, I've been looking for hours trying to find more votes to see, is there any math out there? And when you get to 99%, it's hard to see something come in late that's going to defy what you've been seeing for the rest of the night. Happens sometimes, but it's less likely to happen. And there's
happens sometimes equals fraud. Correct.
They're not there to be found. That doesn't mean maybe they're fine.
Doesn't look good for her there. Let's take a look at Michigan.
You come to Michigan here, you're in the same boat here, except we have more votes out, 14% of the vote yet to be counted. But again, you got a pretty healthy lead there. Modest lead, but a healthy lead, and it's been stubborn and persistent. So doesn't match up when you come to this. So it's getting very hard to find these votes. And let's just go next over to Wisconsin. We're in the same boat here. We're at 90% now. That's even
85,000 vote lead that Trump has.
It's a healthier lead there. So you're looking, Milwaukee's now up to 99%. This would have been your biggest chance to get votes. And we went from 87 to 99, and she made up a tiny bit, but not enough. The Clinton campaign has been telling us throughout the night, watch Dane County. Now, there are still 16% of the vote out here. It is conceivable when you get that, 16% of the precinct, so you could get a giant stack of votes, and she's winning this one overwhelmingly. So if you're looking at this map, you're thinking, okay, there it is, but you're placing a giant bet on one county, essentially, because if you're in the Clinton campaign war room, you're hoping against hope, you're hoping against math, really, at the moment. But Donald Trump, if he gets two of those three, it's game over.
It's over.
But Wolf, as for this issue of bringing the country together, you can just hear the chants behind me. The crowd here at Trump campaign headquarters is chanting "Lock her up" once again. Obviously.
And Jim Acosta starts his negative campaign against Donald Trump.
It's going to be very difficult for Donald Trump to bring the country together, given that kind of rhetoric, the rhetoric that he's used out on the campaign trail, talking about Mexican immigrants, talking about Muslims immigrating into the United States, talking about women, the kind of language that just infuriated female voters.
Did it really? Or is that the Democrat talking point that they tried to get people to vote for Hillary with? That's what it is. It's just the media spin. That's what I really hope that everybody takes away. This is just evidence of it.
Excited here. They're breaking out into chants of all sorts of things that we've heard out on the campaign trail. There are lots of red hats in this room. I suspect we're going to be seeing a lot of those red hats in the days and weeks to come, Wolf.
I suspect we're going to be hearing a lot more about making America great again. Anderson, over to you.
And the FBI.
Sorry, here's John Podesta. Let's listen in at the Hillary Clinton event.
Thank you.
For what?
Well, folks, I know you've been here a long time, and it's been a long night, and it's been a long campaign. But I could say we can wait a little longer, can't we?
No, we can't.
So we're not going to have anything more to say tonight.
The mark of losing.
So listen, everybody should head home. You should get some sleep.
And wake up for a Donald Trump presidency.
We are so proud of you.
For what? Liar.
And we are so proud of her.
For going to Wisconsin.
She's done an amazing job. And
Totally.
she is not done yet.
Yes, she
Has
is.
always been with you.
No, she's always been for herself.
Good night. We will be back. We'll have more to say. Let's get those votes counted, and let's bring this home. You are in all of our hearts. Thank you.
John Podesta speaking to a group of Hillary Clinton supporters at what was, in the opinion of many of the people in that room, supposed to be a victory party for Hillary Clinton. Certainly does not to be turning out that way. Does it surprise you that we're not going to be hearing from Hillary Clinton tonight?
Yeah. No, because she's out getting drunk. Why would that surprise anybody?
I'm not sure. I can see wanting to wait and see what happens. I don't know what her state of mind is right now.
It's not good.
First and foremost, Hillary Clinton is going to lose tonight. She should call Donald Trump immediately and say, you've run a great race. Thank you very much. Secondly, she owes it to the American people to make a speech. If this was Donald Trump sending out the chairman of his campaign saying, we're not going to address this tonight because all the votes aren't counted. It's, 2 o'clock in the morning on the East Coast. We have 99.9% of these ballots counted. We're waiting for a small fraction in Pennsylvania, a small fraction in Wisconsin, which will not materially change the outcome of this election. I think this is, exactly to Van's point, not bringing the country together.
He's 100% correct. It's okay when the Democrats do it, when Hillary does it, but when Trump does it, it's just an insurrection.
Just saying, you will hear something moving forward, but it won't be from us. And look, John Podesta could have just emailed everyone yesterday, and we would have got this from WikiLeaks, as opposed to just coming out tonight and doing this. This is absurd.
I don't think Van thinks you were making exactly his point.
This is so egregious that if this was Donald Trump, the hypocrisy would be so outrageous that, you know what someone would call him? The George Costanza of this election. That's what he would be called right now.
Corey,
you won. So where is the conciliatory note to say, I want my people to support one president? Where's that message?
It's got to start with you, man.
No, it has to start with the president.
He just said that. Why does it have to start with him? Again, the Democrat deflecting the responsibility to the red team.
Who ran? Let's start with Hillary Clinton, who ran. Look, I didn't run for president. John Podesta didn't run for president.
See, this is the fear. Here it is. You see it.
Here it is.
You won.
Say it again. I didn't hear you.
You won.
That's right. And Hillary Clinton should say that to the American people and say,
she should. He's right.
Support Donald Trump because he's one president.
This is it. Let me finish. I'm not done. I'm not done.
Oh, start crying, Van. You did it once. We want to see it again. Election night meltdown for Van Jones. This is what we're here for. I'm not done. My commie ass has got to say something more about how evil the Republicans and Donald Trump are and how everybody's in fear.
Look, it's 2 o'clock in the morning. She'll talk in the morning.
Will she?
Let him finish.
Corey, you're being a horrible person right now. Let me finish.
If this was Donald Trump, the hypocrisy would be so outrageous right now.
I want every parent at home.
At 2 o'clock in the morning.
I want every parent at home who's up right now, who's trying to figure out, who are up right now, trying to figure out how are we going to get through this, right? Where's the grace going to come from? Where's the understanding? Where's the empathy going to come from? It's going to have to come from ordinary people.
Because it ain't coming from you. It ain't coming from Hillary and the Democrats. We know that, and looking forward to the future, that bears out even to a greater degree than what I'm stating at this present moment in 2016.
Tomorrow at work, when we go and look at people who we don't agree with, this can't be the interaction. It's going to have to be ordinary people reaching out to each other. I'm going to say one more thing before I let a smarter person talk about smarter things.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm telling you what, if we can't begin to treat each other in a more human way, this thing is going to go from bad to horrible.
Hold on.
Ron is just joining us.
Yeah, let me to bring up Melania Trump, who I happen to know and respect immensely. I heard so many people sit on this network
Not me.
And not you. You're right. We should unite behind the person who is the. No, excuse me. You had your chance. It's not my turn.
You're saying the same thing 4 times in a row.
No, what Van is saying is we have to get the respect from the people at home to come out and support Donald Trump. No. They put their faith in Hillary Clinton, and she received tens of millions of votes today and won a series of states. And she's the leader of the Democratic Party. And for her not to walk, is it too late?
Right. Yeah.
They're saying she should definitely come out.
If she is the loser, she has to make a gesture to reach out. And I think essentially half the country is not only disappointed, they are frightened by
because of you, because of the media, because everybody said if Donald Trump gets elected, it's going to be the end of the world. And some people didn't listen, and they took their druthers and they went out and voted for GJT. But this is the fault of the media that wants to spin the narrative that the Republicans are evil and the Democrats are the saintly gods that want to turn our country into a communist nation, as we're seeing today.
The outcome either way, and that is just under half the country, and that is a big development going forward.
Do you know how many times we heard, will Donald Trump concede this race? Will he call into question? Right. You know what we're seeing tonight? We're seeing Hillary Clinton, who refuses to concede. She has lost this election. Whether it has been called or not, the race is over. And we heard for weeks that Donald Trump will call into question the legitimacy of this election. He will not concede. What will his people do? Will there be an outrage? Where is the outrage tonight that Hillary Clinton refuses to call and concede the election? The race is over.
I mean, this is such a basic thing to do.
Guys, the race hasn't even been called yet.
Well, then stay up and wait for it to be called.
Well, you're running for leader of the
fact of the matter is what the race is. John
You don't get to excuse Hillary's behavior.
Kerry conceded on the day after the election. This is not that extraordinary. But I think the advice that Van was trying to give you is good advice, and I'm just giving it to you as someone who's been on the winning side of elections, which is you can either use this as an occasion to sort of strut and pay for strutting and payback, or you rise to the occasion and say, we have now won, we've got to bring the country together. And it shouldn't be the occasion for you to replay everything that bothers you about what's been said over the course of the campaign. You've won, so act like you've won.
I think Donald Trump is going to...
If the roles were reversed and Donald Trump wasn't conceding tonight.
No. The question was he was asked whether he would accept the result of the election, and he wouldn't say. There's no indication here that she's not going to accept the result of the election. The result of the
She didn't. She continually, as I mentioned earlier, called Trump an illegitimate president. She never formally accepted it. Even today, in her heart, she thinks that she should have won.
The election hasn't been officially declared yet. So go ahead. I'm sorry.
And if the roles were reversed, and I think Hillary Clinton needs to be gracious about the stunning victory that Donald Trump has had.
This is Donald Trump arriving at campaign headquarters, where we believe he will be speaking. You can hear the response. Let's just listen in some of the votes of the people outside the street, cheering him there. And that's a hat in a box that has been there. I'm guessing he's going to take it out of the box. I don't know. But
there was a story that broke many moons ago, the afternoon yesterday, that said that John Kasich had scheduled a speech Thursday afternoon in Washington, and that the purpose was to reclaim the direction of the Republican Party. I assume he won't be delivering at least that speech on Thursday.
I mean, this was an incredible uprising by...
So do you think it was a failure of organization or a failure of the candidate?
I think that for this Latino surge that materialized, but only barely, could have been much bigger.
It was a surge. We were so close to, we were running the tables. We were coming back in the game, and we had a 4-0 run when we were down by 30 points. But it was a surge that didn't really materialize. We gained 4 points.
If there had been money from the very beginning saying we're going to have to invest and build real capacity in the Latino community.
You also wonder what Joe Biden is thinking tonight. I mean, as he looks at this, as he looks at the results and
he looks at Scranton,
and also a next.
Is there a next
generation of Democrats? Because everybody was
party identification lines.
There's one star. There's one star who hasn't been talked about tonight, who is going to be talked about a lot, and her name is Kamala Harris. the senator from California. She is sharp.
She's a star. This is who Van Jones from the past is telling us is a star. Based on what? The media? Framing it as such and trying to get people to believe it, but when she's on the campaign trail, she receives 0 votes, that she is a word salad that they tried to frame as joy, and that the coconuts are falling out of the tree in Kamala Harris's favor. She was the worst candidate ever, but Van Jones is trying to tell you that she's a star.
Is a whip. She is smart as a tack. She's
dumb
an amazing,
as a box of rocks
force on her own. And she's going to wind up being a big deal.
All right, we have a major projection right now. Take a look at this. CNN now projects that Donald Trump will carry the state of Wisconsin. He will win Wisconsin with its 10 electoral votes. He's cracked the so-called blue wall.
Yeah,
that
baby.
Hillary Clinton had tried
No blue
to
wall.
create,
Not when GJT
Donald
runs.
Trump wins Wisconsin with that win in Wisconsin. Look at how close he is. Right now, he has 257 electoral votes. He needs 13 more, 270, to be elected president of the United States. Hillary Clinton remains at 215. Let's go over to Jake and Dana. He is getting incredibly, incredibly close, Jake.
And the wall comes tumbling down. This is the blue wall that Hillary Clinton had talked about. This is a state that Hillary Clinton hasn't even visited since the Democratic convention over the summer. And it's stunning. Look, I mean, this is truly the beginning of the end for Hillary Clinton's campaign.
The Clinton campaign simply took Wisconsin for granted.
No question. And so these are more bricks in that blue wall.
And can I say one other point?
Just to Pennsylvania, he's ahead by 75,000 votes, and in Michigan, he's ahead by 59,000 votes.
Yeah, we are one call away from the presidency being determined, and Donald Trump is leading in both of those states. And I agree with those who are saying, if the tables were turned, if it were reversed, there would be a lot of outcry by people in the media and others about Donald Trump's behavior. I recognize that these are difficult moments for individuals. I don't mean to make light of that or belittle that at all, but this is also a moment for the entire nation, for the entire United States. If Donald Trump ends up winning, which certainly could happen, the idea that the other candidate is not going to concede before, I mean, after that happens, while we're all still awake, it's only 2:30 in the morning. That's remarkable. And I have to say, there is a nation going on here. It's not just one candidate and her supporters. There is an entire United States of America.
And this notion of the first woman president, David Chalian, of the United States, so many people thought that was almost certain. But the polls indicated that it probably didn't happen.
No, it didn't happen. And there will be a lot of going back and looking at the polls in this race and polling in general. There's no doubt about that. But Wisconsin and Michigan, they were never considered battlegrounds by the Clinton campaign, ever, throughout this entire process.
John Podesta coming out and saying, never mind, go home.
That's why they lost, huh?
We'll talk to you in the morning. I mean, that's just not... I get she's human, just like you said. I completely understand. But I agree that if the tables were turned and if Donald Trump were waiting for one more state and he said, never mind, I'm not going to come out, or suggested that the phone call wouldn't be made to say, congratulations, Madam President-elect, if the tables were turned, it would be, the Democrats would be screaming from the rooftops.
And
we have Maine.
Just look at the way that the Democrats behaved his entire first term and how they're behaving today. They're screaming over every little thing. You've got Tim Walz out there declaring that he wished Donald Trump was dead, that it's going to be good news very soon. That news will come. What a horrible human being he is, and the Democratic Party turned into.
Pennsylvania, we have Wisconsin, we have Michigan, we have Arizona. I mean, he needs one of them, right? Yep. But I mean, he needs one of those bigger states. I mean, this thing's almost...
And he's leading in several of them.
This thing's almost done.
Yeah, I want to go to Sarah Murray over at Trump.
Right, they are here. We are expecting Donald Trump to speak fairly soon. Although I have to tell you, Wolf, for aides who have been in this room, this race has been over for a while. They have been here celebrating. They have restocked the bar for Donald Trump supporters who are not going anywhere, by the way. They just continue to cheer, continue to wait for Donald Trump and Mike Pence to show up. It'll be interesting to see if that tone changes at all all in the wake of the fact that Hillary Clinton is not conceding. And speaking to some of Donald Trump's aides and seeing what they're putting out there on social media, they do seem surprised that we're not going to be hearing from his Democratic rival tonight.
Jake, this is the moment that Donald Trump predicted what happened. Crooked Hillary. He used to call his opponents in the Republican primary by a name as well that seemed to have resonated with a lot of folks.
It worked, and I don't know how much of Donald Trump's success is because of that behavior or despite that behavior, and I'm sure that there will be many studies and lots of research and data about this. His most ardent, diehard supporters who yell things like
Little Marco, low energy Jeb,
right,
all of that. John, it's almost over, I think. It's fair to say.
If you look at this again, let's go Pennsylvania, 97%.
Hold on one second. I want to go back to Dana right now. Dana, what are you learning?
Wolf, I have a little bit of information, but I just want to be sure that I have it right before I report it to you. So go back and talk to John.
All right, go ahead,
we'll
John.
get back to you.
So just now, it's the math is hard still. It's a close race there, but this is a sweep.
Dana, you wanted to be precise, so go ahead.
That's right. CNN can report that Hillary Clinton has called Donald Trump to concede the race. She has called Donald Trump to say that she will not be president, and I'm not sure the exact words, but probably to congratulate President-elect Donald Trump. So that has happened in the last few moments.
President-elect Donald Trump, if Hillary Clinton has conceded, that is dramatic.
That's the 2016 race, baby.
Dana. And to hear the words President-elect, we haven't yet projected
Thumb up
that.
the video if you like it. Just give it a thumbs up, guys, for the algorithm. Just give it a thumbs up right now.
To Donald Trump to concede, is that right?
That's correct. I'm talking to a source who was there for it and telling me that conversation did happen. Our Sam Feiss is also hearing from a different source that conversation did happen. So Hillary Clinton has made it very clear to her opponent that she believes that he will be the next president of the United States and not her.
They've given up at this point, and Hillary Clinton has done what she thinks is the right thing.
Well, they can look at the map and see the facts and the math. And the fact is that as John King has been saying now for some time, if you look at Pennsylvania, there just are not the votes there for Hillary Clinton. It's impossible to think that she's going to win that state. And if Donald Trump wins that state, that's the enchilada. That's the whole ballgame.
We want to make another major projection right now. And CNN projects that Donald Trump will win the state of Arizona with its 11 electoral votes. Donald Trump, he has 268 electoral votes. He needs 2 more to become president of the United States, president-elect of the United States. Jim Acosta, you're over there at Donald Trump headquarters of the New York Hilton Hotel in New York. They're pretty excited right now.
Wolf, it certainly feels like a victory party now. They are just jubilant here at Trump campaign headquarters. They're just as shocked as everybody else. Now, they are shocked. They themselves cannot believe the upset that we're all witnessing, which is obviously one of the most stunning political upsets in recent American history. You know, there were a lot of doubters from all stripes, Democrats and Republicans, who didn't think this moment would happen, but it's happening, Wolf.
This is a historic night. The American people have spoken, and the American people have elected their new champion. So let me say, it is my high honor and distinct privilege to introduce to you the President-elect of the United States of America, Donald Trump.
Right now, a historic moment. We can now project the winner of the presidential race. CNN projects Donald Trump wins the presidency. The business tycoon and TV personality capping his improbable political journey with an astounding upset
America
victory.
saved for 4 years until Biden came and tried to destroy it. And then DJT came back and is righting the ship. Will he be able to?
In our lifetime, Donald Trump wins the presidency of the United States. He is now going to be called president-elect.
If you made it this far, subscribe and thumb up the video and leave a comment.
Right there.
Leave a
History
comment.
Has been made.
Let me know your thoughts
This
about
is a
this
moment
election.
a lot of people are going to remember.
I think it's a moment that a lot of people in his inner circle did not even think would ever happen, but it was a decisive win. There are still outstanding states that we haven't even called yet, but because his win was so overwhelming, we're calling it right now.
Dana, this is a moment few anticipated.
Except if your name is Donald J. Trump.
Sorry to keep you waiting. Complicated business. I've just received a call from Secretary Clinton. She congratulated us, it's about us, on our victory. And I congratulated her and her family on a very, very hard-fought campaign. I mean, she fought very hard. I say it is time for us to come together as one united people. It's time. For those who have chosen not to support me in the past, of which there were a few people, I'm reaching out to you for your guidance and your help so that we can work together and unify our great country. Because this was tough. This was tough. This political stuff is nasty and it's tough.
No, you just wait.
I love this country. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you to Mike Pence. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Congratulations, Mr. President.
Subscribe to the channel. Come up, comment.
An amazing moment in American history.
USA.
Donald Trump, the president-elect of the United States. What an historic moment. This is what an improbable moment. You see, he did it impressively, cracking her so-called blue wall.
It is stunning what he has done when you look at that map. You look at whether it's temporary or permanent, a major realignment of the electoral map, the way it's respected. Guess what? As we have a couple more states to count, Donald Trump is going to pass 300, and he's going to get close to where President Obama was when he won 4 years ago, and that's stunning because he flipped a Florida, he flipped an Ohio, he flipped a Wisconsin. It looks like he's going to flip Michigan and Pennsylvania. That is stunning. That is now. This is a man very few people gave any chance of being the Republican nominee. Then in the last several weeks, very few people gave any chance of being the president of the United States. His biggest challenge just started. This country is ripped apart by this campaign, and he's going to meet in the next 48 hours with a president of the United States that he spent several years saying was illegitimate. This is just a remarkable moment. This is history, and give the man his due. The real challenge starts now, uniting this country. But the speech, remember, he was saying days ago he would appoint a special prosecutor. He was very conciliatory about Hillary Clinton at the top of that speech. We'll see if this carries on and what his supporters demand from him.
And just take a look at how the Biden DOJ weaponized the judicial system and went after Donald Trump.
And I don't want to spend too much time on this because he just won. But if you look at the exit polls, voters, a majority of voters, including voters who voted for him, still have very serious concerns about him. They don't think Hillary Clinton was honest and trustworthy. They also don't think he's honest and trustworthy. They don't think he's...
They're politicians. They're called politicians.
...qualified. They don't think he has the temperament to be president. And they are concerned about what's going to happen now.
He's also going to inherit an entirely Republican Washington, a Republican House, a Republican Senate.
It also occurs to me that I'll bet Secretary Clinton wakes up in the morning wishing she had given that speech tonight, given the way this whole evening has just come together, and put it behind her. But now the onus is on her because...
and she's got a lot of supporters who are disappointed and devastated and fearful, and I think she'll have to set a tone.
Is the era of the Clintons over? I mean, where did they go from here? Do they continue with the Clinton Foundation, which lots of questions have been raised about? Chelsea Clinton is also
until a minute ago, they probably haven't been thinking much about that. I don't think much planning had gone into that. I don't think this exigency was considered as.
He does not.
But I think it's important not to misread the vote.
Yeah, that's
if he's the president.
You talk about a mandate, but there are three issues like that I think if you are a person of color in close to communities of color, that you've got to wonder what's going to happen. I mean, I can't tell you how many people are texting me, I can't sleep, I'm afraid. They're all Muslim, they're all Latino, they're all African-American.
And they're all pussies.
Because there's been a real spike in hate crimes against people of color in this period of time, and many people feel his tone added to that. So immigration. The Muslim community tonight feels very, very vulnerable. Somebody just texted me, half the country apparently hates people who look like me. And the last is his law and order rhetoric. How does that impact African Americans?
Take a look. You see it on the Empire State Building in New York City. That landmark, we might call it the Trump Tower right now.
Subscribe
Donald
with
Trump,
the red.
45th President of the United States. You see it on the Empire State Building right there.
A woman ran for president.
Right.
Probably the
She
most...
won't be the last.
Well, she won't be the last, that's for sure. But probably the most qualified, by traditional metrics, person to run in generations. And she was beaten by someone who, at least from traditional metrics, is the least qualified person. And I wonder, and I don't have a view, but I think it's at least worth talking about. You are taught when you are a young woman, when you're a young person of color, when you're any kind of outsider, LGBT, that what you're supposed to do is be the best. Is to stack up.
Not with DEI. DEI is just the opposite. You don't have to be the best. You can skate by on your race.
All the credentials. Go to the best schools. Do all these great things so you can separate. So you can prove that you're worthy of these opportunities. And now you have an example of someone who did that to the nth degree and was just devastated.
Yeah, but you can make.
Oh no! Somebody going for the highest spot in the world didn't win, and she put in work, so she deserves to. I mean, think about all the Olympians that go to the Olympians with the quest to win gold, and only one does in their event. But all those people did everything that they could. They poured their heart, they poured their soul into it. Good God, what a stupid statement by Van Jones.
It's not true. That's not true. No one told her to go set up a private server. No one told her to delete 33,000 emails. No one told her that you have to break the law in order to run for president of the United States. Nobody said that. No one said you have to go and become the Secretary of State and then cash in and make hundreds of millions of dollars from foreign countries who degrade women, who degrade blacks, who degrade homosexuals, and you keep that money and use that money to pay for your daughter's wedding. No one said you had to do any of those things to become the president of the United States.
But certainly, Van, I mean, to your point, there are a lot of voters, a preponderance of voters, who believe that whatever resume Hillary Clinton had, it still didn't help her with judgment. And Donald Trump does have a great resume.
What Van is wrong is people say that she's the most qualified person to be the president of the United States by a metric that the media has imposed. Is what the
correct. Oh my God, correct. Not how other people view it.
These are that the American people want.
Right,
the American people.
But doesn't it feel like sometimes like the rules? But doesn't it feel like sometimes like the rules change? I mean, I'm just asking. It doesn't feel like
what rules? You want us to abide by your rules, by the Democrat rules. That's what you desire. I don't want to abide by those rules where I have to give up my seat because somebody else has a darker skin tone than me. Thank you very much, Van. Although that's exactly what you want, because apparently I've been born into privilege.
Do all this stuff and then it doesn't matter.
But there's one.
The Senate, the balance of power in the Senate, the Republicans stay in charge.
That is the headline. That
Donald Trump, elected president of the United States.
DJT.
It was a little bit surprising that as the race seemed to end, Hillary Clinton nowhere in sight.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And that call happened around shortly before 2:30, I'm told, and it was cordial, but it was very short. Guys, obviously a call Hillary Clinton never expected to make. I've talked to a few campaign advisors, those who are actually picking up their phones. They say devastation is the only way you can describe how the campaign feels right now. They simply didn't expect to be at this point. They went into Tuesday morning fully expecting to win with a number of different pathways to reach those 270 electoral votes. Now, I add that, but they made very clear the electorate simply didn't match up with the reality that they thought they were working with going into the day. Now,
what do you think happened last night?
A political earthquake happened all across this country, something that was stunning. Donald Trump knew and understood something about voters in America that we in the media didn't understand, that the political class, Republican and Democrat, didn't understand, including pollsters, experienced strategists, and that the establishment writ large didn't understand. He understood and harnessed the energy of a movement that was tired of the political establishment and really wanted a new day, wanted something completely different. And we had the juxtaposition of someone who had never held elective office, never served in the military. We've only had presidents come from those two fields, against the ultimate insider in Hillary Clinton. And the American people, on class lines primarily, rendered a resounding judgment.
Well, guys, that was the 2016 election as described by CNN. I think that they actually did a fairly decent job, much better than they did in 2020, 2024. That's the first time that I've ever seen it. But congratulations to Trump for upending the Hillary wrecking ball that would have destroyed our nation and sold it off to foreigners. And we would have had war. And Donald Trump gave us peace, a respite from war during that time. And look at under Biden how things turned out. So God bless everybody out there. Leave your thoughts in the comment section. Thumb up the video and subscribe. Peace.